right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back tonight playing more deltagreen. We're a little off schedule, but we're normally we'd be playing Warhammer tonight, but we're gonna be playing some deltagreen instead, as we were down 2 players from the Warhammer group. But the deltagreen group was on call, so we sent out something, and they're all here. Because if not,
assignment,
they're fired. And they no longer get to play games on this channel.
Did we just
That's how it works.
throw the yellow sign up and bat signal?
Oh my god!
Yeah, we do have that yellow sign emote, so that definitely works. I mean, King in Yellow is not the villain of this adventure or this scenario or this campaign. Really, I didn't really. I love the King in Yellow stuff, but I didn't really want to go back to the well too often. Sure. It feels a little repetitive. So I went with the Queen in purple, and that's what we're doing instead.
Yeah.
Roughly the same. So I'm pretty proud of the adjustments we're making with colors. Yeah, we're gonna play tonight. We're gonna see how far we get. I'm very excited because this is the first time we've done back-to-back weeks of deltagreen. So hopefully everything's gonna be relatively fresh in your memory. I know none of you talked about what you're gonna do this week or in the time before we got on stream because we were talking about food and the American medical industry. So we're just gonna kind of fly by the seat of our fans and see what we remember. You all also learned a whole hell of a lot. You got a lot of stuff last time.
We did. Yeah.
How much and what of it is relevant? Who the hell knows? Oh wait, I do. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, we're ready to get going.
There is an answer to that question.
That's
you
right.
know.
I do. I mean, that's kind of. All right. So last time around, we started on the property of Mrs. Warrant, where we saw Agent Inferno, who was going through some threat dossiers that were compiled by Congresswoman Karras's office. You didn't really notice any kind of large-scale pattern, but you did find some messages that were very inauthentic. They seem to be crafted to kind of mimic common, constituent outrage, and it also seemed timed with various congressional and media discussion of the Strategic National Defense Infrastructure Modernization Act, which had not yet cleared the House Armed Services Subcommittee on Intelligence and Special Operations, of which Congresswoman Karras was a member. Afterwards, you did join Chopra, who had found a hidden cellar beneath the garage on the Warrants. I'm just going to keep doing that because you don't know their names. On the Warrens property. And then Weaver came as well. And the three of you started looking through some stuff. You all are calling this a green box. I didn't say it was a green box, but that's what you're calling it. And so I think Chopra, you focused on some audio recording reels and a lead cylinder that had the label Project Sorrow on it and some broken up pieces of paper in it that talked about a dimensional anomaly of some kind. Weaver, you were looking through a suitcase of old Blockbuster video rental tapes, and you took one of the 15 with you. Incidentally, it was actually titled Inferno. And it was actually really random. I didn't do it. Did anyone actually watch Inferno? The Dario Argento movie? No one?
No,
Literally,
I watched 5 minutes of it, and I was going to get back to it.
And to watch it, I have it queued up. I just haven't had time this week. But
I literally did start it. I just didn't finish it.
Game.
All of you lose 10 sanity. There you go. Just like that. No. Okay. So that was the one of the movies that you took, and you also went through a box of Marcos brand dot matrix paper. You found an old printout. Where the top 3 pages were audio waveforms and text translations that matched the exact same message that was buried in Sharon Delaney's voicemail that she received from her missing daughter, Anne, that Chopra had sort of discovered. And then Inferno, you got drawn to this anonymous monograph from Miskatonic University that had this green dodecahedron that you've collected. And here is a paper about it. And you also found a photograph of a government office from the 80s and had a splayed copy of Magnificent 12 in retrograde by Frank Ryder, who a few of you know also as Ronnie Lightside, the recently deceased. And you also saw dozens of these classic horror movie VHS tapes and, most notably, an inexplicable shadow that was cast on the wall that should not have been there. You also at that point you left to try to get some fresh air. You found some lemonade on a counter in the garage. You drank a glass, but then when you went to thank Mrs. Warren about it, she had no idea what you were talking about, and then you flipped the hell out. Your hydrophobia sort of set in. You started getting into a panic. You were looking for clean water, couldn't find it. All the different hydro flasks that were handed over to you were filled with this sludgy seawater and things like that. And so the three of you got the hell out of there. Elsewhere, Price, you managed to meet with Ranger Wilson, and who gave you some advice about finding various locations on Alex Karras's GPS, offered you hats. Only one of you took one. And he was a very nice man who would love to talk about 80s children's movies with anybody. If anybody wants to do it, we didn't even get into the Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, anything like that. So there's a lot we can talk about.
Specifically the characters that die in those children's movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
if you think it was a veiled threat, it wouldn't veil. So then the two of you braved the heat in the trails. Did not go that well. You headed out first to the Finger, and after some potentially heat-induced hallucinations, you found a maze in the dirt. Price, you completed the maze. You saw this human-like silhouette that manifested in your peripheral vision. You pointed in the distance, so you're like, let's follow it. So you did, and that pulled the two of you off trail. Eventually, Weaver and Inferno tried to catch up. They also kind of got hit with some heat stuff. Chopra, meanwhile, was looking at the audio equipment, the audio reels. And when you started listening to them, you realized they contained a series of these recorded conversations that were describing aspects of the desert, the facility, this disappearance of a coworker, creatures in the desert, and someone that appeared to be trying to question something, an entity, a thing, a person, who knows. And it also ended in violence, it sounded like. Back in the desert, the four of you, those of you that are out there, you found a second maze. You tried to walk through it again. Price and Carr, you completed it, and both of you saw a human man wearing a cow skull over his head, manifested in your peripheral vision, pointing once more in the distance. But Carr also saw this hazy, shimmering series of buildings in the distance on the horizon, a mix of like old buildings and new buildings. It was kind of confusing, and then it disappeared. You all followed that pointing figure. Along the way, Price, who had been being a total asshole the whole time and not coordinating with his group, not willing to just wait around for 5 minutes for Inferno to catch up, well, he saw coming down from the hills behind some rocks and stuff like that, what looked like special operatives chasing down, guns drawn, told everyone to hit the deck, pulled his gun out and started firing, shot Melissa/Carr in the chest. And then as that apparent vision faded, what was left was Carr, Weaver, and Inferno laying in the dirt in a triangle formation. And at the center of the triangle was the skeletal remains, where the skeletal remains would appear to be a woman. So we're going to pick up right there. We'll get to, we'll take a moment in a few to see what Chopra's up to, but we're going to start right where we left off. So the three of you are lying on the ground, and you look up, and Weaver, you're trying to like make eye contact with Inferno, but you can't see him because in the way you see a body half buried in the sand. The way the hair is sort of set up, and maybe some of the bone structure, it gives you immediately the feeling that this might be a woman's body. Price, you are a handful of feet away. Your gun has gone off. You fired it a few times. You do not see whoever it was that you were firing at. You see Carr on the ground. You see she's bleeding. And I turn it over to you all. What happens now?
Oh shit. And I run over to Carr. They got you. And I start like trying to put pressure on like where she was hit. You have to put pressure on it. And the whole time I'm also... I'm looking around. They might come back. We got to stay down.
I fucking told you that you had heat stroke and that you're seeing shit. And then you fucking shoot Agent Carr? The fuck is wrong with you?
The hell are you talking about?
There was no one here, Vin.
I didn't see anything either, but there are things out here. I saw.
Okay, did you see who shot you then?
They were wearing camo. You probably.
Me, but there's a facility we're looking for, and she points in whatever direction she remembers seeing.
Carr, you got fucking shot.
Before that, I'm telling you, I saw it. What we saw in the pictures.
You are bleeding from your chest. You lost like what, 3 or 4 points of damage, and you are bleeding. And like it's getting kind of, the wound itself is getting matted with sand as well.
I'm putting pressure on it if anyone has anything that they can do to help in this situation.
I've got 10 first aid that I will offer you if you want it.
Okay.
I don't know if you want it.
Did we just shoot the healer? Do I have the highest first
I have
aid of us?
37.
There you go. You can help me.
So you can do, I think you can do a stabilization roll, which is first aid, and that would heal, if successful, would heal 1d4. So this could be just like a quick patch up and clean. And
Would
you can
my
only do this
helping
once.
give her anything?
Does you helping give her anything? What do you have for first aid?
10.
You have a 10? Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think you just make it worse if you do help.
Yeah. So I'll take one boost. So I'm shooting for a 47.
Go for it.
33 crit success.
Nice.
Ooh,
Nice.
great success.
And we're back in the game.
Okay, I think, yeah. I'm not sure if there's like a specific crit. Yeah, there's not a crit thing. So I'll just say roll 2d4 and take the better.
Okay, cool.
We'll do that.
4.
All right, well, there you go. So maybe it wasn't as
Like it
bad as
never
initially thought. Maybe it was more of a, there's definitely blood on it, but maybe it was more of a graze. Like maybe it doesn't like plunge right into the center of your chest. You look down and instead it's just like, you can see it kind of just dragged across like your ribs, and it didn't quite fully embed. You don't even see the bullet there anymore. It's more of a graze, but it looks worse than it probably is. As this blood kind of spouting and quickly pat it down, and Beaver, you're able to get something. And whether you actually have first aid on you, or whether you just like rip a piece of cloth or something to help kind of press it down, but you're gonna be okay. You're gonna live forever.
Oh, it's fantastic patch job, Weaver.
And she just, yeah, okay. And because like at this point, Lisa's kind of annoyed with everyone because she wanted to go back. People were seeing shit. It's fucking weird. And she knows that Luke is down, but there's that dead body in the center.
Okay. But let's hang on there. You just applied some first aid, so that's a couple minutes worth of time.
Yeah,
so let me check in with Inferno and Luca. And so Luca, what are you doing? Because it's not like you see the dead body too.
Yeah, I'm 0 willpower, so I'm delirious. I've been fading in and out of consciousness. I've been trying to strike up conversation with this skeleton, imagining it's an actual person. When you joined us, how long you been out here?
You watch
This is so good.
as you're talking to it. Its hand, its arm, like you can see, like this skeletal arm. It's got some skin on it. It suddenly moves down, like it's almost covering its face to a degree, as if it's being bashful.
It's okay. Don't be shy. We're all friends out here.
Inferno, roll like I'll tell you what, roll like an alertness at -20.
I can't pass tests as 0 willpower.
Oh, that's right. You're at 0 willpower. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Never mind then. Not important. All right.
Jeff is trying to help you.
So,
We're scared.
Weaver, you finish patching up Carr. Price, you no longer see the gunman who shot at your fellow agents. Inferno, you now hear is talking to this dead body. What do you guys do?
Inferno?
Vin is very much looking around for more spec ops. Like he's trying to, keep an eye out.
What's your alertness? 1010 or something?
Pretty low. It's only a 90.
Okay. Roll alertness -20. How'd you do? He's so excited to roll alertness. Whatever gets to. 13? Okay.
Oh, I need to fail it.
You look around very carefully. You see no signs of gunmen. You see no signs of anybody else, in fact. It's just the four of you in this body. You hear the sounds of Inferno talking to this dead body. And the only other movement you see on the horizon is about 30 yards from you on what looks like just some big chunk of rock. And you can see that there is a large bird that seems to be like pecking away at something. Like it's like kind of pulling something apart, like it's feasting on something.
I would start slowly wandering over there.
Okay. You get about halfway there, and it very much looks like there is like blood on the rock meat. It's probably like a fresh kill. You're not sure exactly what animal it is at this distance. But I want you at this point, is your intent to get closer and closer?
Yeah, I would be curious if maybe I hit one of the Spec Ops guys.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your stealth at -20.
Those guys totally existed, and I did not shoot Melissa. That was someone else. That is a 7 under 51 with the -20.
You get within, we'll say 3 yards of it, less than 10 feet away from it. When it finally like lifts off, you're not sure if it lifts off because of you, because it doesn't like at no point it like doesn't squawk at you or anything. But it's a relatively big bird, and you can tell it's definitely like a bird of prey. It's got like these brown golden feathers, and it's kind of, and then it has like this sort of long, like very sharp, not particularly long, I should say, very sharp looking beak with like the top is kind of hooked down. You can see the talons are just like ridiculously powerful, and you see it lifts off, and it takes like a big chunk of this meat with it. And then when you see it kind of fly away, and it just kind of goes off into the distance to the north, you see remaining on the rock, or what looks like some of the remains of the meat. Like it didn't get everything with it.
Can I tell what it was?
Well, you go up there and you can see very clearly that there are 2 fingers, 2 human fingers.
Do they look like college age fingers?
What does that even mean?
What does that even look like? They look really torn up. They look sunburnt. They look lighter skinned. I would say that. I'll give you that. Like a little lighter skinned, and you can say they're torn up, ripped. You can see some of the bones protruding. They're hardened. They're hardened to a degree in some cases, but like for the most part, it looks pretty mangled. But they are very clearly 2 fingers. It looks like an index and a middle finger, you think.
I would start searching the nearby area for anything else.
Okay.
Any
Go ahead
other
and you do that.
parts?
Meanwhile, back at the dead body that you found.
I've been shot. We've been dealing with me being shot.
What would you like to do?
We would like to start investigating the dead body, please.
Thank you, Ashley. Okay. So
Car was a little focused on the fact that she got shot, and then once that's been patched up, then she'll notice.
oh my
the dead
God,
body.
you're fine. It was a graze. Get over it. Jeez. All right. Couple tests you could roll. You can roll search. You can roll medicine. Either one of those would be fine. I'm gonna have you roll it too, because you guys are not in the greatest of states.
Yeah, so I don't have medicine, so I will take search.
Okay. Go for it.
Can we both do this?
Yeah. If you're both investigating.
Okay, cool.
Failed 85 over 50.
Okay.
That's 23
Okay.
over 36.
So as Inferno is off to the side trying to talk to this thing, you start looking at it and kind of messing around with it, and you notice that like its skull it's kind of laying on its back in a way, and you see the skull is sort of gaping up towards the sun. And you can see its hands are almost kind of clutching to the side now that one of them has fallen off the face. Like they kind of fell down, and you can see it's just in this clutching position at the sand. You would note a few things. First, that the hair is slightly curly, slightly wavy, brown. You can tell as you start to push back maybe some of the sand here or there that the body is very much female. But the biggest thing you notice is that they are still wearing some of their clothes, which are a little bit torn up. And you see in one of the pockets of the clothes of like the what looks like these baggy pants, like a kind of a cargo like pant, is a digital camera. And I would say if the two of you want to roll an int ×5, you could also do that as well.
I'd definitely like to do that.
Or even a forensics if you have forensics and it's better than that.
I succeeded my int roll 45.
Okay.
Yeah, 26 under 85.
Both of you, it dawns on you that the hair looks very familiar, and you think it matches up with the hair styling, color, type, wave, curliness of Emily Hernandez. But it was one of the missing hikers, but the body looks like it's been here for weeks, maybe longer. Like this is highly desiccated. Like I said, it's barely like it's a skeleton with a couple bits and chunks of skin left, but it's heavily rotted. The timeline doesn't make sense, but the hair looks very, very much like that. But as you search through, you would notice. So going back to your search test, Weaver, two things. First is that digital camera, and the second is you see that the neck, like there's a silver chain, and it's like a pendant that kind of dips down beneath the sort of the breastbone, the collarbone. When you pull it up, you can see it's a tiny silver cross, and there's 3 metal tags. It's kind of like the kind you put on a dog's collar, like it's like for like naming and for identification. And you can see engraved on those, it's a little bit tarnished at this point, are 3 names. One is Bucci, one is Harper, and one is Cassie.
How do you spell Bucci?
Bucci. Okay. I'll let you all think. I want to check back in with Chopra. Chopra, last we saw you had been going through the audio reels. It is late afternoon, not quite evening by the time you finish listening through those. And you've gone through them, you've documented them, you listened to them probably a couple times, maybe. Late afternoon, you have not heard back from any of your fellow agents at all. Like none of them have responded to your text or messages that you've sent them. They've not returned to the hotel. The last time you saw Inferno and Weaver was several hours ago, kind of just after lunchtime, when they brought you back to the town. You got your stuff. They went off to try to track down Price and Carr. You haven't heard anything. What would Chopra be doing at this point?
So the last 2 messages that she sent have not been sent, and when she last saw Weaver and Inferno, they did say they were going to be joining these guys on the trail, like in the desert. So it's starting to worry her, but she's not panicking just yet. But what she's gonna do is she's gonna call Lyta Hall, their handler.
Okay. It goes directly to voicemail.
Agent Chopra calling from GISA, looking for information on Project Sorrow.
Yeah, I would say Chopra wouldn't do any of that. Chopra would have put a code in, and like it would have been more of like clandestine. But Chopra would know how to do it. It's okay. We don't get that. Perfect. And so
that's the intention.
What's the keyword that you put in there to get information on?
Project Sorrow is what I'm looking for.
Okay.
I hadn't figured out like a code word.
That's what I meant. Like what was the keyword search that you wanted her to get information on?
Project Sorrow.
Okay.
Which was that thing on that lead case.
Okay. Yeah. You put that, you leave that appropriate message, you dial like the extension code, you drop a voicemail, and we'll see what happens. The last time you did this, it took like 12 hours to hear back. So it's not going to be like an instant thing.
No.
So once that's done, what's Chopra up to next?
She's going to send a message to them again. And this time say, need to clear my head going for a ride. Text me when you're back. Text or call me when you're back.
Okay.
And
Text goes
then
through.
she's gonna go down to the rental place in Best Western and try and hire a bike.
You're going where?
To the rental place in Best Western, or like if there's a Hertz nearby or whatever.
You can roll a luck test.
Sweet.
So it's just a D100. You're looking for a 1 to 50.
Yep. So that is a 35 success.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing in the Best Western because that's a hotel, but like just down the street, you know, that there is sort of a rental, a vehicle rental. And mostly it's probably like, it's not so much maybe a car rental service, but more like an ATV, like dirt bikes, that kind of stuff, like for all-terrain kind of thing. You would know that there's probably like an enterprise rental somewhere near downtown where the police station was. So you could probably walk over there too. It's a walkable distance. It's just some time.
Right.
So
So she's specifically looking for like a two-wheeler, like a motorcycle or an ATV. The intention being to go on one of those long roads she's found recently on one of their drives and just kind of take off for a little bit.
Okay. I think if you're looking for a motorcycle, something that's going to be on a road, you probably like walk downtown to Enterprise Rental, see what they have to offer. You pass your luck test, so we can say that you can probably easily rent that. I'm not sure what they would have in their fleet, but I'm sure Chopra is probably more educated than Jeff is on motorcycle choices. So Chopra picks something appropriate to her needs. By the time you get it all squared away, it's sunset, and you can see like and your messages still haven't come in, but you have access now to this motorcycle.
Great. She's gonna just go for a ride and then sort of not really knowing the area. She's just looking for like stretches of road that she can kind of open up on. So she does that for a little bit, and still not having heard back from her team, will go to where she knows the searches are being started.
Okay. So we'll say you drive around maybe for an hour, and then you start heading back to the trailhead. And you would know where that is. I think this information is pretty public at this point. But before we see what you find there, let's go back to the four that are in the desert. Around this dead body, Price is wandered away from you. Inferno's babbling to a corpse. And then there's Carr and Weaver looking at a corpse that may or may not be Emily Hernandez, one of the missing 4 ASU students, or 5 ASU students.
You said I was about 30 yards away, right?
That's where it started. Then you said you're kind of starting to look around for more.
So like 50 yards? Am I still like within yelling distance, like they'd be able to hear me?
Yeah, sure.
I would yell out then. Is that body missing any fingers?
Hold on 1 second. So
No.
we'll look at the body.
Yeah, you look at him. Looks fine. There's no
All
clear...
10 here.
I mean, until a full medical examination is done, you'd have no idea really what the cause of death is. But you can tell, like, all digits are accounted for.
We got an extra 2 over here somewhere.
All right, hold on. And Carr is gonna go through her bag, and she is looking for some pills that she wants to provide to Inferno. So, kind of given his state, if he gets a dose of stimulants that can get rid of the exhausted negative for like 1d6 hours.
Okay. Would Carr have carried those?
I would say that she does. Like, this isn't her first rodeo. I think she knows what can happen when you lose willpower. So, like, I would say that it would be something that she would kind of have something like that on her, just kind of on the regular. Like, she doesn't have like a whole bottle of them, like necessarily enough for like a lot of people. But I would say, you know, kind of like traveling with a couple Advil or whatever.
I think I want a luck test on this just to see if you have them on you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
That's fine.
think the pill, like stimulants, actually help for 0 willpower anyways. I think exhaustion is something that's different.
Yeah, exhaustion's like not getting sleep. So it's meaning not getting sleep at night. 0 willpower is that's a good point, Steven.
So is 0 willpower not exhaustion? Is something different?
It is something different, yeah. Like exhaustion is essentially the idea that you effectively didn't sleep the night before, so it's like a condition you take effectively. 0 willpower is literally when your willpower is depleted to 0.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't regain until we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, you're just kind of stuck here. Okay. Sorry. I was going to try to give you a pill so you could kind of help with us. In that case, then I think we got it like a digital camera or something. Did I hear that right? We were looking at the body.
It's in the pocket. Yep.
So see if there's any charge left in that.
There is not. No. It's intact. It doesn't seem to have suffered any damage, but like it doesn't seem to be on. Like it looked like it's just a simple charge. Like you can probably get a charger for it. You could probably replace some batteries in it, things like that. Like it's something you could do if you got away from, and if you got out of the desert, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Then I would say Agent Carr would kind of look to Weaver and kind of see if she wants to kind of take a picture of the body here, because it sounds like we need to move on and kind of see what else there is kind of out in the desert where Price is. So Carr wants to kind of on her phone take a couple pictures of kind of what we found here and kind of look at Weaver. I think we found everything we can. This matches a bit of the description of Emily. Jeremy did say that Emily was gone, whereas Anne went home. So maybe this is kind of what gone meant. He didn't say dead, but
Yeah, this is fucked up. And Lisa's gonna again mark the coordinates. And like it's starting to get dark, right?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely sunset. I would say it's not quite dark yet, but you probably have maybe 45 minutes to an hour before it gets dark.
Honestly, we should head back. We should see about getting some ATVs or something. Dirt bikes, what have you, anything to help making going through here easier, but we should head back before it gets dark.
yeah, starting this out in the afternoon probably was not the wisest choice we've made. Let's see what Price has found. Something about fingers up ahead. Inferno, you're okay there?
Yeah, I'm coming with. Let me just brush my teeth first. I start fingering the sand and wiping my teeth with it.
Oh,
Okay.
Inferno.
And
And then like Lisa can't stop herself. She like gets a water bottle out. Here, rinse, like here's some mouthwash. Spit this out.
I drink it.
Okay.
Drink
We
down the sand.
really should head back.
yeah, let's see what Price has got up there.
When you check out what Price has got, there is a boulder of some kind, and there's definitely fresh splattered guts on it. And what is most noticeable are 2 fingers, lighter skinned. They are mangled pretty fierce. You're not even sure if you'll be able to get a clear print off these or not. It would be very difficult, but they are very clearly human fingers. Price, you have been sweeping around this, and you have noticed no signs of additional operatives, gunmen, birds, fingers, anything like that.
Well, let's head to that complex. We got to keep
Let's-
going. They were
Let's
pointing.
not. It's almost nighttime. Let's go back, get ATVs, get Chopra,
Oh, it
who's
is.
also on our team.
And Inferno's not doing so good. He needs a night's sleep.
Inferno's Teflon. Nothing sticks to him. He'll be fine.
You
He's
look
trying to
around,
brush
and
his
he
teeth with
is.
sand.
yeah, no, we've got momentum. I would agree. He needs a good night's rest. We've got a member of the cell that's missing. We've got to regroup.
We found a camera. We need to charge and see what's on it. Like we've got stuff to do.
Yeah, we'll take the fingers. We can get the sheriff's office to run some fingerprints, see what they find with those.
Maybe, because if we
Get
give
him
it,
out
they're
here.
going to
Get
want
the
to know
body.
where we found
We
them.
keep going.
But we should.
Because he was pointing us. He was pointing over there. Or was he pointing over here?
And so Carr wants to sort of make a mental note if there's anything to kind of anchor when we return to this place where she saw the buildings when they kind of appeared and disappeared, like what direction that is.
You traveled away from that point. So like you were at the maze and you saw on to the northeast in the far distance on the horizon, shimmering, kind of bubbling up from the horizon. You saw buildings. So, and they look old, they look new. It was like a weird hodgepodge of things. And it shimmered and then disappeared. The figure with that kind of cow skull head or helmet or whatever, they were doing that pointing thing, and they were pointing northwest. You followed the point. And then eventually, as you were walking for 20, 30 minutes, that's when Price saw those gunmen come down and try to kill all you guys, and then shot you. And you found this body in the sand. If you're looking to try to orient yourself, you can roll a navigate test to try to do so. You know that your GPS has been acting up and has been pointing to you, saying that you're in like Antarctica and like Mongolia and just all these random places that just don't seem to fit. So if you're trying to get more of a visual and a better understanding of where you might be, you can roll a navigate test. Anyone can do that. So whoever's the best at it is more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, I've got 11 in navigate, so I'm hoping we've got someone that's got a better sense of direction.
I've got 52, but I'm at minus 20, so I can try.
I have 11.
All right, so we're going for 32. I don't
Do you
think
want
it's
any-
fair to take a boost on this because I'm
Okay.
still in my emotional breakdown. 86. That is a fail.
Okay. You see
So
a certain rock formation, Bryce, that you think is the most unique thing you've ever seen. It just looks like a bullet. It looks like kind of an old-fashioned bullet, the way there's like a little rim at the base, and then it's got this like perfect rounded top to it. And then you can see it looks like an old-fashioned cartoon bullet. And you just lock in on that, and you know that, 70 yards south of that, that's where the body was found.
Vin is looking at that and he's talking about, okay, I got this. We got the bullet. That's where we're going to come back to. Oh shit, I'm coming down. And he fumbles in his jacket, which he put back on because it's getting darker, we said, right? And he pulls out a little baggie and drops some powder on his hand and then immediately puts it back in. Okay, I'm good to go. We're good. Let's get out of here.
Jesus Christ. Just lead the way. Let's head back.
Okay. So is Price leading the way?
Yeah, apparently.
Give me another navigate test to try to lead the way back. Be fine.
I'm addicted to stimulants and I'm having an emotional breakdown.
This is great. This is great.
Stimulants
This
went
is great.
really well in our
Really,
Southern game last
before
night.
we get the result of that roll, this sort of body that's here, is it in any position that we would be able to pick it up and move it, or it's pretty well
So
just
you have some
desiccated and not
decisions.
really?
I'll tell you this, like as FBI agents, right? And you're specifically a real one and the rest of them are fake ones. You're at kind of it's the decision point. You've already tried to mark where it is in terms of your GPS location, and hopefully that records properly because that's what Weaver did. You've tried to mark it visually, and that's what Price tried to do, and hopefully he remembers. But you would know there's a dead body here. There's missing people, and taking it, while that's certainly something you could do, it would also probably not be the proper procedure to do that. It would be more like contacting, the sheriff's department, which, by the way, you have walkie-talkies.
Yeah.
So that are connected back to Ranger Wilson.
Lisa was saying was, do we radio to tell them where the body is and then wait? Or because if we do that, that's going to bring more people over this way. So then when we come over here to do more of our shit, there will be people here.
No, that's
Vin
a really
said
good
we
point.
should call it in too.
It's a decision. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just what do you
Per
guys?
our dossier, finding the bodies isn't our first priority.
No. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And it would make it easier theoretically if we're trying to come back to this place. We know we're looking for this body here. So
Like
Okay.
morally, Lisa does not like it, but also like again the point of like there would be police here, etc.
yeah.
So
No,
you're both saying we
excellent
shouldn't call it in.
That's what it sounds like
Correct.
to me. Yeah.
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 It's
Okay,
okay. I'll call for us. I take my boot off my shoe. Marco, I'm not gonna make it back for dinner.
Please, we need to get Inferno back.
So
And we
my thought would be
Definitely shouldn't
calling
call
it
them
in.
with him
would
in the
be-
state that he is.
They would be able to find this place again better than we could because they know the area. They've got better resources. We're not worried about finding the bodies, which is all the more reason not to hide the body, because like, you know, they can come and they can get it and they can do medical exam. We can get more information that way than, you know, we don't have a medical examiner in our group anymore. And then it would also make it easier for them to just extract us when we're hurting. But
That's
Vin is
true.
also having an emotional breakdown, so I don't think he'd be able to express all this very well.
Probably not.
Trying to get Inferno out in this state also probably has Lisa worried.
I'm gonna need
So
your final answer here.
So radio back
Yeah.
and see if they can find us. Okay.
Lisa gets her. Hey, Sam.
Hello there. Can I help y'all? Actually, wait. No, you radio back. No answer.
I switched channels because we were
Yeah.
on a different channel, so I switched back.
Good job. Good job, Ashley. Okay. Then you hear Ranger Wilson say, "Well, hey there. Y'all doing all right out there? You've been out there kind of wild. It's almost dark. You know, you might want to start heading back. I don't think y'all provisioned for a overnight stay or nothing."
It's true. We found a body. It's
Oh,
it's pretty decomposed though,
like a human body?
but yeah.
Oh,
And then
Oh,
and
well-
she my navigator tool still seems kind of to be on the fritz, but here's the coordinates of where we're at.
okay.
Tell them it's
Well,
by
no,
the giant rock that looks like a bullet.
Right. Hey, could you go ahead and just kind of describe where you're at? Those coordinates make a little bit more sense. At least you're not in Antarctica no more. But can you just kind of do a quick, kind of describe what you see? Kind of
Yeah.
look north, east,
And-
south, west.
She'll do so. She's
Okay.
got like a JanSport backpack that's got one of the cheapy little like navigator tool things that I had like
Mhm.
in elementary school.
Like the old school little
Yes,
compass or
the
something.
compass, yeah.
Okay. So you radio that in. We're gonna cut, and we see Chopra riding on this long highway. You're on your way back from your sojourn here, and at one point you like it's not quite dark, but it's close. So like it's this beautiful like red sunset that's happening in the west. These sunsets are like Arizona sunsets are pretty phenomenal actually, and you notice as you're heading in the direction of this trailhead, you see another motorcyclist driving in the opposite direction. Like you're heading north, they're coming south, and you see them as they get kind of close to you. No helmet or anything like that. You see this indigenous man. You can see he's got like these denim cuts, very familiar. You see the cut itself. The bike looks familiar. The sound probably resonates with you to some degree. And the same man that you had saw the last night back in the parking lot of your motel, you see him just drive past. He's got his sunglasses on. He's got his hair, like most of his hair is in a braid, but you can see some of it's blowing in the wind. It's like kind of like dark black with a couple streaks. You probably peg him maybe in his 50s or something like that. As he starts driving past in the opposite direction, doesn't motion, doesn't do anything, but you just see him.
I would like to motion for him to pull over. I don't know if he will, but I would like to motion for him to pull over.
You motion, and like you kind of slow down, start to pull off to the side maybe, and you look over your shoulder, and they haven't slowed. They're just going and going. You see that the road's like kind of weaving a bit.
I'll keep going then.
Okay. So if you keep going, I'll say, yeah, if you keep going the way you're going, you'll make it at the trailhead right as like the last slivers of sunset are coming down. You see that there's a little bit of a commotion going on right now, as like the sheriff is here that you had met earlier this morning. A couple of deputies. You can see there's sirens. Like you can see like the flashing, kind of blue and reds are up. And you can see like there's an old man with there's a couple of these big old gallon hats. But you can see that there's something's happening, and you're not sure what it is. What do you want to do?
Go up to the sheriff. Just park the bike and walk
Easy
up.
enough.
I'm not in any official looking clothing. I think she's got like shitty jeans on and like a Suzuki t-shirt or something, and she'll go up to the sheriff and tap him on the shoulder.
Okay,
Sheriff
so he's
Gus?
like in the middle. He's like debriefing his, he's talking to his deputies and some other folks and this and that and everything. And you can see a handful of folks are kind of getting geared up. They're putting on what looks like a helmet. There's a few of these ATVs that are getting kind of set up. And he kind of turns around and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. You're Agent." I
Chopra.
apologize. Chopra.
That's okay. Chopra. What's going on?
Well, your team members apparently found something out in the desert, a couple miles east of here, and they found a body. Yeah, and we're heading on out there right now. We're gonna retrieve your folk. We're gonna cordon off the scene, all that kind of thing. You're welcome to ride with us if you want. It's perfectly fine.
It's probably better if I wait here.
If that's what you think, sure.
I don't have any of my supplies or anything with me, and anything you guys have, I'd rather you use on them.
Hey, that's fine. All right. Well, we got to get going. We'll have them back. We're taking a few out. We'll bring your folks back. Maybe an hour or two.
I'm gonna wait here. And actually, Jeff, I'm so sorry. I don't remember if I had one of the radios or was it just Weaver? Because I've been scouring my notes and I don't see them, so I'm assuming I don't.
Okay, we can say no. You could get one though. Like, there's plenty of extra ones. Like, they have tons of stuff, and a lot of the search teams are back. If there's one that I can
get in this moment, I'd like to.
Absolutely. And so, like, one of the deputies will hand it over, like, we're on Channel 7, and no problem, because all of the search teams have come back for the day, and like all of their equipment has been returned. You can see some folks are kind of getting into their cars and driving away. Other folks are kind of waiting around, figuring out what the hell's going on. Like, this is like the biggest news that they've had since they found the survivor. So everyone's kind of into this at this point. Okay. So what we'll say then is, over the next, say, hour, we see from Chopra's perspective, this kind of fleet of vehicles, these SUVs and ATVs are driving off from Cars, Weavers, Prices, and Inferno. Well, not Inferno because he's in La La Land, but the rest of them, we see them arrive. And it all kind of aligns relatively quickly. Like I would say Price and Car and Weaver and Inferno, you're probably out there on your own for about 40 minutes before anyone arrives. And they all arrive, and you can see them coming, big, bright lights. But you can see a fleet of vehicles arrive. They sort of circle around this area. You can see some of the deputies come out. They kind of start doing the proper procedure by marking off a scene and things like that. You can see a one or two, like a medics kind of come over. You can see like there's a nurse or a paramedic kind of comes over and kind of checks on a few of you, because you guys do not look good. Your faces are beet red. In some cases, your skin's peeling. Car, you have a gunshot wound, though thankfully it just looks like a scrape. Price is kind of a little bit shaky, and then Inferno is babbling like a lunatic. So as they're coming around, they look for the most sane one. It's probably Car and Weaver. And so the sheriff will come up. All of you are welcome to be there in this conversation. And did you all, y'all did the right thing calling in? Did you move anything? Did you touch anything? I know you're FBI agents. I understand, but I just have to ask these questions just to be sure.
Yeah, and Carr, kind of has, like one of those gloves. And so, she's, the thing that they do where like they're not wearing the glove, they're just like using the glove to like hold other things. Mm-hmm. And so she just holds it up like, yeah, we know. So she is not mentioning that she grabbed the digital camera.
Okay. All right. You're okay. That's fine. Okay. All right. So you kind of explain that you move some things slightly. He asks you to show like one of his deputies, and they're getting lights up. These kind of stand lights are starting to get up, and it's becoming this big bright bubble in the desert as the sun comes down completely. It's dark. Stars are popping up, but it's harder to see when you're within the range of the floodlights. And then you kind of go over and you explain to the deputy here and there what happened, and they do their best. You can tell he's not too upset when you mention it to him, since you called it in. It's the fact that you found something. This is good. This is good. You all, I don't mean offense here, but you all look like shit. So why don't you take one of my deputies will go ahead and they'll drive you back. Get yourself something to eat. Get yourself some rest. There's a lot of work we got to do here. You know the drill. And we'll touch base in the morning. All right?
Good.
Yeah, and what the audience might see in this situation, like if this were a movie kind of a thing, is that Carr, when they came up and they saw the body and were actually kind of going about everything, there was actually a little bit of relief there, because like Weaver's been so just kind of hard on, like, we're seeing things, they're not actually there, kind of this idea of things being like hallucinations and whatnot. And even though it's been tactile and we've kind of been feeling this, there was a little bit of that, like, okay, this wasn't kind of we're all out in the middle of the desert and we think we're seeing things that we're not. And so when they come out and they actually see everything, there's almost this little bit of like relief of like, okay, this is actually a thing. And it's a little bit settling, actually.
All right. So
and Lisa will tell the sheriff before we go her concerns that her and Agent Carr's concerns that this is potentially Emily.
And he kind of like his face will
just based off of the hair, but it
we'll
is
certainly
bizarre how dried out it is.
Hair's hair. There's plenty of folks out there with curly brown hair, but we'll definitely do some testing and see if we can match up some of the clothes once we clean it up a bit, and we'll make an ID as fast as we can, and we'll get back to you there, agent.
Thank you, sir.
And make sure you get those fingers over there too, on that rock, the big rock.
And like you pointed out, one of the deputies goes over, and they're there. So it's not, they were actually real. And they create these little evidence markers and stuff like that. And like they do the same thing you did. Hey, how many digits on the body? And they're like, oh, well, they're all here. And they kind of do that back and forth. And you can see they take a bunch of pictures. They go through the basic evidence collection, all sorts of stuff that's pretty standard. So, do you guys leave?
Oh, yeah. I want out of here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you out of here. Okay. So you go ahead and you get into some of these vehicles. Maybe one of the SUVs. They kind of put you in the back. Air conditioned, whoosh, hits you. It's like the greatest thing you've ever felt in your life. There's a cooler, bunch of water, and like none of you are driving. Somebody else is driving for you, and it's like one of the deputies. And we'll say you get back. It's at that time like. We kind of cut to Chopra. We see one of the SUVs coming back, and we see your fellow agents in not great states. You can see they're sort of beaten up a little bit. The sun's kind of gotten to them, sunburnt like crazy. They look exhausted, sweat stains, dirt stains, a couple blood stains. But they pour out of the SUV at this point. You're probably feeling, the four of you are probably feeling better because you're cooled a little bit and you got some water in you, but you're still not in like great shape. But so we'll say the five of you now are in this little staging area.
Holy shit! What the hell happened?
We took a walk. Middle of the afternoon.
Just get
it
us
was
off
hot.
from Chopra.
All right, we should go back to the hotel so you guys can. Jesus, you look awful.
Well,
Are you bleeding?
I feel great.
And
I'll
she looks at
drive.
Car. Like, is that a? Why are you bleeding?
well, I'll talk about it when we get back. Car sits in, because I think we've got 2 different vehicles because we came here separately. So we'll take off, go back to the hotel.
So Carr and Weaver get into the vehicles.
Yeah.
Inferno and Price are passengers. Chopra's got her own bike at this point.
I did try to drive.
I know you did.
No. You're not allowed.
But I want to keep it moving. Don't be a blocker, Steven. And then and then all of you return. By the time you get back to the hotel, it's probably around 9 o'clock at night. And you all get back to your Best Western and you can retreat to your various rooms. Is anyone doing anything tonight? Any tasks that you're looking to do?
I'm just gonna tell the cell. I listened to the audio stuff. You probably have my messages now, but there's some pretty fucked up stuff on there that you all should listen to in the morning.
Yeah, that's a tomorrow problem.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that we try to do is try and find we might not be able to tonight, but see if any of the chargers that we have would work for the camera.
Oh yeah, just get it charging overnight.
Yeah, roll a luck test. We'll see if you can get charged tonight. Just straight up luck. 50-50. Okay.
51. Oh my gosh, that's so
That's
close.
Yeah, it's she. I'm real sad. Okay, so yeah, it's you figure taking a look at it, it's something that it'll probably be ready to go in the morning. It's an older model of camera. It's not like so it's gonna probably take a little time.
Yeah, no fast charging.
No.
All right. It's 2014. Okay.
To sleep with us.
All of you go to sleep. Anyone
I
else
pass
have
out in the
any-
hotel lobby with the 10 bucket hat on and a shoe missing.
Okay. Excuse me, could someone take care of this fella? Is he one of your party? I saw him coming in with you.
Sorry. Yeah, heat stroke.
He hit him hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to hug the Coke machine. He was just kind of leaning up against it, all strange like, and then he just fell down right here.
I am so sorry. He didn't believe me about how hot it gets out there. And help scoop him up and take him back to his room.
Okay. So you all head back to your rooms, and we sleep. Maybe shower, eat, whatever it is, no problem. Chopra, you have a dream, and in your dream, you see you're in your. It's one of those dreams where you wake up and you almost feel like you're awake, like you just woke up, and it takes a second for it to dawn on you that you're in a dream because you're in your hotel. You can see the bed that you went to sleep in. You can see a lot of the furniture and things, but then there's some evidence, some things missing, some of the details not there, and you realize you're dreaming. Things are just a little bit off, and your window is wide open, and you guys are on the ground floor. So I think it's only one floor, and you see you look out, and you can see walking past your window is much like they drove past you hours ago. You can see that biker just walks past you. You see the familiar denim cut. You see the hair. He's still got his sunglasses on, and he's just walking past your window. You have control.
She goes to the window and calls after him. Hey!
You go to the window and you realize the window is open. It's not like one of those hotel windows that are just that you can't get them to the outside. But you go over and you kind of lean out. Your head leans out. You see on the bottom, right to the ground, there's this mass of almost looks like compost. Like a pile of compost, and there's a whiff of an odor that comes at you, and you turn and you say, "Hey," and you see he's just continuing to walk down the kind of the parking lot here, where the the side of the parking lot. You don't see any bikes. Everything's kind of vague, but you see him walking to the end of to the far end, towards in the direction of where it backs up to the desert, and it looks like he's like rounding the back corner of the building.
I'm gonna climb out of the window and follow after him and continue. Hey, stop! I'm talking to you.
You run down, you shout, you turn their corner, and you don't see him. He's completely gone. Except you do see one bit of movement a little bit further down, maybe 50 yards away or so. You can see that there is this lean coyote that's just standing there in the back alley behind this Best Western, just staring at you. Mouth slightly open. You can see the tongue is almost even visible, and it's just there staring at you as you turn around.
There's nothing else between me and this coyote?
It's like 50 yards away.
Okay. God, my survival instincts are telling me to go back to the hotel room, but my theory as a player is obviously going to follow.
Okay. You start following, and it just stays there, staring at you. You get 40 yards away. It's standing there, staring at you. You get 30 yards. You get 20 yards. And then once you get within the 10 yards, you just see it darts away and just runs off, not unlike Agent Carr disappearing into the desert. You just see it just run off at that point, just loping and loping and loping. And right as you sort of turn your head, you see like this blinding light out of the corner of your eye, like out of the peripheral of your eye, and suddenly you wake up. And you are back in your hotel room. At the corner of your eye, you can see coming through the window is the sun. It is morning. You've had a full night's rest. And you're in your hotel room. Everything seems fine.
Okay. I'm gonna instantly text. I'm gonna text Carr.
Okay.
Somewhat frantically because she saw the coyote with me. And so I'm gonna text her like, had a dream, coyote was there, and some other stuff, but the coyote was there that we saw the other night.
Carr,
So
you get woken by a buzz on your phone at like 6 o'clock in the morning.
and she kind of like wipes the sleep out of her eye. And she texts back, "You had a dream about the coyote we saw? Question mark."
Yes.
And Carr, like, you kind of see the like responding and that doesn't get sent, and kind of responding and doesn't get sent.
The little ... the
Yeah.
typing.
And she's kind of like scratching her head a little bit, like,
I'm coming over.
and you K. And so she just kind of like looks around and she's like, "Guess I'm up. Goes make some coffee." But Benton unlocks the door so Chopra can come in.
Which she does just a minute or two later. And she's still in her pajamas, so like t-shirt and shorts and that kind of thing. She hasn't got dressed. I know we've talked about coincidences. This doesn't feel like a coincidence. I've been seeing this same fucking Barker guy like again and again, and he showed up in my dream again last night. And like, I mean, he's kind of handsome, but I don't dream about handsome guys.
He's not handsome. He looks like an old
no,
catcher's mitt.
I don't know why I'm dreaming about him. I have
You don't know what she's
idea
into.
why he's dreaming
That's fair.
about me.
That is fair.
I don't know why he's showing up in my dreams. I
I-
saw him for like a fraction of a second the other night, and then I saw him again yesterday, and then I saw him again in my dream. And what the hell?
I mean, we can definitely keep an eye out. I think we should probably kind of keep folks together a bit today. So kind of next time we see him, we see if we can have a conversation with him, figure out who exactly he is. But there's a lot going on. I don't even think we told you. We saw the buildings when we were out there. I saw the buildings anyway. They were there and they kind of blinked in and out. It's new stuff, it's old stuff. And like everybody was seeing things and mazes and figures like pointing us in directions, like helping us get to the next place. So, hey, if we're believing what we were seeing out in the desert, I'm not going to tell you that you're not seeing something and whatever it could be.
Okay.
While we're up, let's get everybody else up. And so Carl's just going to go around knocking on doors.
Everybody, normally you get a D6 for sleeping, but in this particular case, because a lot of what you're doing was heat stroke and stuff, we're going to bump that up to a D8. So you can roll D8 between getting all the fluids that came in later in the afternoon and getting your nice rest. Like some of your exhaustion, some of your tiredness, some of that sort of effect by the heat is beginning to wear. So you can do a D8 in this case.
I already rolled my d6 and got a 1. I rolled the d8 anyways, and I got a 1.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
I had already rolled a d6 and got a 3, and I rolled a d8 and got a 2. So.
Oh, you're the other Lisa. I was like, who else is Lisa?
That's me.
Gotcha.
Why are all of you Lisa? Stop clicking on Lisa. So when you roll, it doesn't show up as Lisa.
I don't have myself to click on.
Ashley did say
You don't have to click on anything.
I'm not.
Ashley could just take whatever number she likes. Beth, that 3 looks pretty good. I'm gonna take that
No,
3.
my dice are a dark purple, so when they pull up, I know
Yeah.
that one's mine.
I waited for everyone else's dice to stop rolling so that mine would be very clearly mine and not someone
Gotcha.
else's.
I
Okay.
roll my fancy green and black Norse Foundry dice that have
Ooh.
Lolly on them.
Use the Lolly promo code to get 10% off your dice. Look at you, Steve. Look at
Dropped
you.
it in Twitch.
Well done. Okay,
Alley-oop.
so we'll say everyone's up. Everyone's is a little bit more rested. You're still exhausted. Those of you who went out into the desert, you're still feeling it, but you're feeling better. Like Inferno, you're no longer brushing your teeth with sand. You're doing it with toothpaste. All you're awake. We'll say it's like, we'll say you get together like a quarter after 6:30, something like that. So you've woken up. You're in your hotel. Chopra, you check your phone and no messages yet from your handler. No follow up yet. But otherwise, the 5 of you together, you got a lot to think about. You got a lot to kind of dig through, a lot of various bits of information. So, are we saying like you are grabbing breakfast, or are we saying like you guys are in someone's room? Like how's this working out? Like set the scene for me. Where are we as you kind of like figure out your next steps?
Maybe like grabbing the continental breakfast at the hotel, like grabbing like the bagels and like whatever waffle maker they
Dried
have.
cantaloupe,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
And grabbing a bit of that, and then either like finding a corner that's like, not many people around, or taking it back to a room to debrief.
I'd like to suggest going back to Chopra's room because she really wants to play the audio stuff here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sure.
So Vin's
Inferno,
breakfast was
Weaver?
just 2 cups of coffee.
Okay. Okay. You don't want to. You
Yes,
don't want a
Chopra's
Yoplait
was
yogurt.
as well.
Okay.
Cars was coffee and like 4 sausage links.
Okay. I mean, Inferno and Weaver, at this point, you might as well just tell us what your breakfast is. So
We
everyone
went
else is
across
doing
the
it.
street. We got McDonald's.
Amazing.
Oh,
It's
Whoa.
still nasty, but you
Ugh.
know.
it hurts me. It hurts me deep in my soul. Okay.
My arteries are clogged.
All of you will say are in Chopra's room. You're eating your or drinking your breakfasts, and you have just listened now through all 5 of the audio recordings. Each one of them was interspersed with a lot of noise. You can tell like a lot of like desert sounds. Some of them had traffic. None of them were in like extraordinarily great condition. You could tell they're aged, like they're not like recent recordings. Most of them sounded as though they were in a private setting, but there was that one that sounded like they were at a diner or restaurant or something like that. But all of them seem a bit kind of odd. So all of you have heard them now, we'll say.
This is from yesterday's green box.
Yeah, I told you it was messed up. This Project Sora thing, and she kind of gestures over the other thing. Dr. Martin was one of the names that there were 2 pieces of paper in that box thing. One of them was Dr. Martin, who was the person referred to in one of in the audio logs, and probably the person responsible for at least part of the recordings, if not all of them. And I've written to Lyda Hall asking her about Project Sorrow, but I didn't hear back yet.
He's
You
scared
left
of
the
this recording.
voicemail. You left the voicemail, just so you know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's worried in this recording here. He's scared of this entity. Something here.
Car, you said you found what might be the facility yesterday?
Yes, so it's northeast of where the body was found. So Price, you said that you were seeing a figure gesturing from the second maze, so we went northwest. But northeast is where I saw the buildings flickering in and out.
And it said the other piece of paper I found said dimensional anomalies, so maybe that whole location just like isn't here the way it's supposed to be here. I don't know.
Let's gear up. Let's take the truck out. To
How are
the
your
site.
GPS
Before we do
out
that,
there?
why don't we check that camcorder, see if it's charged at all?
How are your GPSs when you were out there?
Oh, I forgot mine.
The thing about technology is that it should work pretty much consistently, and if it doesn't, it's a good bet that something is wrong. So if you had GPSs, radios, or anything and they did not work, it probably means something was wrong. So how were
Radio
your
seemed to be working
GPSs?
fine the whole time. I don't remember having a problem with the radio.
GPS thought we were in fucking Antarctica.
I'm gonna grab. Do we have access to the GPS now?
When
Yeah.
you say the GPS, are we talking like a GPS device, or are we talking about Nick Garris's GPS like coordinate stuff? Like,
The device that Weaver had? That's what we're
Yeah.
talking about, right?
Yeah.
yeah, you guys would still have your stuff. Yeah, that's fine.
I would like to take a look at it and see if it's still showing our Antarctica coordinates.
No, you take a look at it. You kind of go through whatever process, and you're in Kingman, Arizona.
This is showing what it should be showing. No.
Yeah, now that we're out of the desert.
There's dimensional anomalies then.
You can always call
Messing
Ranger
with
Sam
your
or the
GPS.
sheriff and see if they got GPS coordinates when they picked up the body.
Oh, that's a good point. They would have tried to mark that. And someone mentioned the camera, so Car's going
Okay.
over and seeing if the camera's charged.
You unplug it, you go through it, and in fact, it is seeming to be powered up, charged, and it's just a digital camera, so it's not like there's any kind of passcode or anything, so you're very easily able to kind of get in. And there are Or the other option you could potentially have done is like taking the memory chip out and try to plug it into Chopra's laptop. But we'll just say you use the camera. So we forgot how digital cameras work because we always take pictures on phones now. So the first you see are a few pics of Jeremy Benton. He's like mugging for the camera, and you often see him like hugging and kissing Emily, like big kiss on the cheek, kiss on the lips, like they're clearly posing. Some of them it looks like they're taking him, some of them it looks like somebody else is taking. You see several pics of the group, all 5 of them in various positions within Nick's SUV. You see Nick, I see Mike, you see Emily, you see Anne, you see Jeremy, and you can see that there's a bunch of them that are in transit, like they're like a road trip. Some of them are at a diner, some of them are like a drive-through restaurant, that kind of thing. You can see that there are a few of them look to be from Kingman, Route 66. Then you can see they're taking and posing for pictures in front of like the Route 66 sign and like "Welcome to Kingman." This big old, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but there's this ridiculously big, grandiose like "Welcome to Kingman" sign. You can see a few of them show Emily specifically at the base of the bird, that rock formation that you all come across, and she's giving in every single one she's giving the finger to the camera and she's grinning, and you can see that another has Jeremy leaning up against a highway sign that says Red Lake. Another has Michael staring out at the desert with like this brooding face. It looks like he's mocking like a Christian rock album cover or something like that. You can see there's another that has Anne that's making this like shh symbol, like she's got her finger to her lips and she's making a shush. And while Nick holds up like this rusted old no trespassing sign that he just kind of found somewhere, it looks like. And you can also see that the next one that they hold up, it says private facility. And then it looks decades old and something scraped off of it, like a directional sign or something. The next few pics, Price, Inferno, Carr, and Weaver, you all recognize what they're pics of. It's the mazes. You can see all of those different rocks, the sand, all that kind of stuff. Some it's just the design alone. Some of them are showing the different different hikers and such. Like they're in the path. So you can see like Nick and Ann are following it, and you can see like Jeremy and Michael are following it, all that kind of stuff. Anybody who's huddling around this, if you're looking at these pics, you can roll a search test right now, if you like.
Definitely. It's 50-50.
Okay.
Nope.
42 under 51. Not as good as...
Rolled
Okay.
a 3.
All right.
Last.
Fail.
Oh, wow. Another 51 over 50. Jeez.
Hey, check
Couple
the box
close ones.
though, my tray. You get to improve it later.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Silver lining.
so Price and Weaver and Carr, all 3 of you succeeded. Is that right?
Car failed.
Carr didn't. Okay, so Price and Weaver, the 2 of you both notice. And this, I think, is the first time Weaver has seen this. But Price, you see a very familiar, blurry, human-like figure, almost silhouetted, with a weird shaped head. It's in the distance, and it's in the background of one of these shots that they're taking of the maze and everyone kind of like messing around, like almost like hopscotching around. And you see it in the distance. Weaver, I don't think you actually saw this figure at any point.
No.
So to you, it really just kind of looks like a blurry Joshua tree. But it's noticeable but Price, like you recall seeing the shape, like the shape itself is very noticeable and you're kind of locked in on it. Like Weaver, it definitely looks like something's weird about it, but it's still, you wouldn't be like, hey, it's a guy with a cow skull on. It's like that would ever never dawn on you. But like Price, you definitely see that. So we'll start. I'll stop there for a second in case there's anything you wanted to say or do about that.
Vin would definitely have the big "I told you so" energy, and he'd like pull the camera. You see right there, Weaver. We weren't seeing shit.
And that's just like a Joshua tree.
Oh, don't give me that. Look, you can see it's a person with that cow skull thing.
Zoom in. See if you can zoom in. That.
So
Yeah.
Dance. God damn it. I was going to say it too. So, Carr and Price, did you two ever talk about this image of this man with a cow head skull together?
I don't think we actually did. I
don't think so
I
either.
saw the first one and she saw the second one. I didn't see the second one.
Did we just say go that way and we didn't really say
Yeah,
why we
I
were
think
going
so.
that way?
I don't recall you actively having the conversation. So
That's true.
Carr, when he mentions this with like a cow skull, like you saw a figure like that and that pointed you in this direction.
Wait, Price, you said cow skull?
That's what we were following.
That's what I was following. It pointed, and that's when I said let's go that way. It's because it was pointing that way.
Exactly. Like we weren't seeing shit, Weaver. This is it.
And it's I couldn't see it. I was looking over. I failed my search, so I didn't see it in the photo. That they actually got it on camera.
I'm looking at where you're pointing, and it's a tree.
I mean, I can see how you think that from, it's the digital camera. You're looking at this like little thing right there, but I'm telling you, like it's tall and it looks just like that. And they were actively pointing. And when we followed it, we found the next maze, right? Price, that's how we found the maze. We followed the point and then we got to the maze.
Yeah. We got the maze, then we got the body.
So they were directing us.
You can doubt all you want, but there's no way us wandering in a desert would wander across one maze and then another maze and then a body just walking directly at it randomly.
All I'm saying is that the heat is real, and
Oh, fuck that shit.
obviously
here.
we all are a little affected by it.
I start going through
yeah.
the other pictures.
And you see the next couple pics, Price, are pics of what people have described either as the gal pals or the three sisters. Karis put it in as the gal pals as like a smart ass joke, but like locals refer to it as the three sisters. And you can see these big rock formations that actually look like women. Like you can tell, like each of them, they have the shape, like the way, and like they have like you can see that there's like the shape of like the bust of a woman, and like each one of them one by the other, and they're both very large rock formations, not like carved statues or anything, but it just kind of has that shape to them. They don't seem to be taking like particularly precise pictures of them. It's just more like that kind of posing around them, and you can see that a bunch of them are leaning against the stones. One has Michael, who was supposed to be like the outdoorsy kid. He is looking up into the face of one of these women, and you can see he's just kind of staring at it. And I'll roll over your searches from the last. You notice that like next to him, you can see Jeremy and Nick are like they're kind of picking something up. They're in the process of literally picking something up out of the sand, and it looks like a gun. Like it looks like they were picking like a handgun up out of the sand. And there's a couple of those, and eventually they start taking a pic or two of a gun. Like you can see like an actual handgun, like it's been laying in the dirt and the sand. It's like, you can see some of the it's definitely been weathered somewhat, but it's intact. But it's a handgun, like a heavy duty handgun. It's not just like some tiny little model.
Would Carr be able to see, looking at it, given that she is actually in the FBI, like, does this look like a 2014 kind of a weapon? Does this look like a 1950s, 70s kind of weapon? Like, I imagine that she would know a bit about firearms to be able to kind of,
I would
obviously
say
it's a small frame.
The pick isn't the greatest, but I would say you would recognize that it isn't like a revolver. Like it's kind of a clip, kind of a clip loaded weapon. So it's it's probably something anything from like 70s, 80s, maybe 90s could be something like that. But it definitely looks aged.
Okay.
Price, if you keep going through the photos, there's some of this shrooms area that you've heard described, and you can see that the group is like sitting around these different toadstool shaped stones. They're hiding from each other. You can see a lot of them are popping pills, like fun pills.
Do I recognize them as a
pills?
previous drug user?
You might honestly, like you might notice something. They're happy pills, and then you can see a few of them are smoking. Like you can definitely tell, like they've brought like a couple of roaches with them. And then again, I'll roll over your searches some more. And Price, you notice that there is again that strange blurry figure in the background of some of these photos, and one of them looks like it's even more clear now, and it's it's no longer purely silhouetted, and it looks like there's almost like a helmet or horned helmet or something like that. And the really strange thing is that at times, like the figure is so close to some of these students that it's impossible for them to have gone unnoticed. Like they're like literally just a few feet away from where Michael or where Anne is kind of posing in front of a toadstool or taking a draft. And it doesn't seem like the people who are the subject of the photo or the photographer noticed either. And you can show this to other people and they would see the same thing.
I would be. I would assume that I'm like showing the pictures to the group.
They weren't taking a picture of these figures because they would have been centered. They were just there, hanging around.
So
It's still kind of blurry at times, but it's definitely not a Joshua tree.
Mm-hmm.
What does Weaver see?
You see a shape. It looks sort of like a man, but it's not quite focused. For some reason, that section of the photo seems out of focus.
Okay.
I didn't see anything like that
Didn't know it was
yesterday.
there.
Did they mean you harm?
They were directing us. They were helping.
Or they were
So what was
killed by
different
wandering through the
about
desert.
your trip versus our trip? And like Lisa just in general is going to want us to like all go through everything that happened, like, and did you make it to the middle of the maze? Inferno and I didn't. We gave up on that shit.
Do you do this while continuing to go through? There's tons
to go
more
through
photos.
pictures. Yeah.
Like, so all that conversation is happening. You're sharing whatever it is you want to share. You notice that the next are from spots unknown to you. They don't look familiar. They don't seem to align with the descriptions of the places that you have of these local landmarks. One shot doesn't have Emily, and a second shot, very similar, is without Nick. You can see in the first of these photos near the top of a small rise behind them, you can see that same figure that's been popping up in these images. And then in the second, you can see that there are literally a yard or two behind the group. And finally, you have a clear image. There's a tall man wearing only a loincloth, and there is a cow's skull for a mask or for a head. So anybody who hasn't seen this, so this is Inferno, Weaver, and Chopra, you can go ahead and roll a sand test at this point, because it is such a strange image, and there is literally no way the photographer could not have seen this figure. And then they're just pretending like it's not there.
I passed my 26 AM.
You that a boy!
Wow.
Look at you.
Crazy.
You live
Wow.
forever.
How did you do
You're okay.
that?
It looks like we all passed.
So all three of you, they've been prepping. Carr and Price have been telling you about it, so the shock's probably not there, and you finally do see it. Then you see the next few are of a landscape that don't actually have any people in them. So it's just landscape. You see shadows, rocks, desert. The lighting is kind of odd, right? It's like you can't tell if it's this morning, is this night. There's like this twilight to it. Like the coloring seems where all of you were just out in the desert. You were out there in the evening, and like the lighting doesn't seem right. It's all just like this kind of grayish look to it. There's no like warm tones. There's no reds. There's no yellows. It just looks very strange. And vaguely in the distance, Carr, you recognize a city or a facility. You just see there it is, and it's shimmering in some ways, but because of like the clip, because of the camera, it actually looks a little bit more solidified than what you saw. And whenever you kind of zoom in and enhance, every single time you do it, it changes. You zoom in once, now it looks like this old city with these like kind of wattled huts, these like kind of weaved bits of like branches and things like that. Other times it looks like more kind of Adobe style. Other times it looks like these tall buildings, much more modern. You can see seven stories high with these dark black windows. Other times you see what looks like a satellite dish and then back. And each time you zoom in 2 times, 10 times, 20 times, every time it shifts. And then when you move back, it shifts again, and all of it repeat and repeat. And eventually it's just rocks and sand. Go ahead and roll another sand test for seeing this now. And while you're doing that,
Everyone this time?
I would say everyone but Car. Actually, no, Car, you probably should still.
Okay.
This is
yeah,
different.
I saw the buildings, but this is still different. So, welcome, Raiders.
Welcome. Thank you so much. 20 cents to every story. Appreciate it. Delta green indeed.
Success.
Lisa failed.
30
Okay.
fail.
Success. 25 under
Car
40.
failed.
Okay. Inferno, you failed.
Yeah.
1 point of loss. And again, you can
Okay.
push this off. Don't forget, you can always push this off, but
That's
it
right, I'll
does
take
take
it.
willpower. Okay. Car, you passed.
No, car
You
failed.
1 point of sand loss. Chopra, you passed.
Okay.
You're good. Price, you passed. You're
Passed.
good. Weaver,
Failed.
2 points of sand loss for Weaver.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. All right. So you see this and you keep doing it back and forth, and it's just constant shifting and changing. And it's like the other buildings aren't there anymore. And then they are, and then they aren't again, and then they aren't again, and then new buildings are, and it just doesn't make sense. And there's all this like shimmeringness to it. And you can see that there's these different shadows and things and kind of weaving about it, but none of it really kind of makes sense. The last.
Chopra's gonna mutter under her breath as loud enough for everyone to hear, actually, but mostly to herself. Dimensional anomalies.
What the hell?
About this is wrong.
Yeah. And she's just kind of like looking and like this, she's kind of lost a little bit of sand, but she's also kind of snapping at Price, like, keep going. Because he was the one flipping through the picture.
Sure.
Keep going.
There are a couple more. And the last few are some extremely dark shots. Like they're taken inside, like with very little light at all. And they look like you're in a natural cave, or these images were taken in a natural cave. You can see that some of the walls are lit by flashlights, and they show these large, Native American cave painting or something like that, and it's all there across this wall. And again, we'll roll over the same search. So the people who passed your searches before, you're just picking up on the details faster. That's all it is. Everyone can see it, but it's just like you're catching it just a little bit quicker. And you see that this cave painting is just it just doesn't really make sense, because it looks old, like very old, like authentic, like it's an authentically old actual site, not so much like a forgery. It's hard to tell. Obviously, it's a digital camera. You can't really tell it, but it looks like tall modern buildings. Like you can see these tall buildings, like not necessarily skyscrapers, but like apartment building sizes, right? A couple stories high. These dark windows. You can see these more primitive domed huts. And you also now see that like scattered amongst them are these strange and hunched and indistinct figures that are kind of scattered about. And then you can see that there is like another portion in one of the painting in a different image that is like a large open area. And you can see that there's all these like little humanoids, the kind of stick figure like drawings of people all lying prone, like supine. And you can see amongst them this single dark, featureless figure stands among them. And then you get to the end of the roll, or the end of the memory card.
Featureless figure, like a silhouette, like a shadow, or
like a shadowy silhouette, humanoidish. Does not have that kind of cow like skull shape though on the head. Looks more
many
just like
people?
this. It's hard. You never really get like one good view of it, but there's probably dozens, you would think.
Okay,
Depends.
more
You
than
might be
just
double
like the
counting them.
amount of people missing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll keep going. Is that it?
Could I do a history roll to see if I recognize any of like the like dome-shaped buildings, the older?
You would need more like anthropology. Do you have anthropology or archaeology as opposed to history?
Not this character.
You could do a history roll, but it's limited what you would get.
Okay. 37 success.
Okay,
Nice.
maybe during your drive up, maybe you were like doing some context reading or something like that about the Wallapai, which you know is like the local reservation, one of the indigenous peoples in this area, and maybe some others in Arizona, in the kind of a larger framework. If you're specifically like kind of looking at the buildings, that maybe they might be like of that design. Like if you've looked at some of like these tourist places to go and things like that, maybe they had some similar kind of designs and images. So it could be like Wallapai, it could be Yuma. It's not entirely clear. And in some cases, there's probably overlap too.
Gotcha.
But even still, they're hundreds of years old. Like it's not like these are modern designs. Like these are hundreds of years old. In terms of the other buildings, like it's like a nondescript, like 4 or 5 story building here, and then like it looks like a half moon on top of a box that strikes you a little bit like a satellite dish or a radar tower, things like that. And this is all in a painting that looks very authentically old.
Gotcha.
And go ahead.
This would kind of just take the winds out of Lisa's sails a little bit, because she has been kind of harsh on them about like heat stroke, and you guys are just seeing stuff, like get real. And so she'll just kind of like sigh, and at that point she'll kind of like go sit down elsewhere on the bed, and maybe that's when she starts to research this further and like recognize where it's from. But she kind of removes herself from a little bit, and she just needs to chill out.
And what Car would kind of ask to kind of go back through a little bit, because, obviously a lot of the earlier photos were one of the students or the hikers posing next to something. And so kind of wanting to track that a little bit, sort of like at what point did they seem to stop kind of putting themselves in the photos? Because I think at one point you mentioned sort of like someone isn't there anymore and someone isn't there anymore. Like,
yeah, the only pattern you can really tell is that the landscape images started around that kind of twilight view. So, like, that's when you stop seeing people in the images. But you did see, like, flashlights and things. So you knew that there were people, they just weren't posing any longer. You didn't see them goofing around and taking drugs and screwing around. Like, they just weren't posing any longer.
So, and Car will kind of point that pattern out. We were there late afternoon, but before sunset, and we were starting to see some things, but they seem to find all of this dusk and after.
I think we got to get back out there.
Let's gear up.
We
Whatever's out
rented
there.
that SUV specifically so that we could like go off road with it.
Right.
So I think Vin would, like, whatever plans we're making, Vin would want to go and like stop by a grocery store and pick up like a big case of water, grab a jerry can of extra gas, just like stuff like that, so that we could take it out and be better prepared this time.
Okay.
Chopra will help and do the actual like gearing up for individuals, like all the survival shit they're gonna need for camping out there.
Okay.
Ara wants to try to take a map or something and try to kind of trace the progression of the photos, and just kind of see if we get kind of anything additional from the order
Yeah.
of everything that we saw.
You can track the landmarks. So like you can track this was by the gal pals, he called them. This was by the toadstools, and this was by a maze. But once the landmarks and there's no real, like once those are gone and it's just like landscape, there's really nothing to track them with. Like you're just you're not even sure. So I just rolled something. Inferno. Your phone buzzes.
Check it out.
You take a look and you see there's a message. It is from. It's sort of in like moments after Inferno's goes off. You can see like everyone's phone starts going off. And Inferno, when you look at it, you see it's a message, like a voicemail that you don't recall hearing your phone ring from the sheriff's office.
Sheriff office left a voicemail. We'll see what it is.
You listen to it, and it's one of the deputies. This is Deputy Harris of the Mojave County Sheriff's Office. This is a courtesy call on behalf of Sheriff Gus. If you can and kind of notify your team, we're going to send out similar messages to all of them. We've had an incident this morning over at the Kingman Memorial Hospital. Jeremy Benton has gone missing. He was not in his room this morning. As apparently a couple of your agents were possibly the last to speak with him. So when you're able, please could you please contact the sheriff's office, or as you might expect, the parents are quite concerned. Thank you. And then that's off. And then each one of you, like one by one, you'll get like a similar message of some kind. It's like they're kind of notifying you one after the other. But Inferno's yours buzzed first.
I'll just inform Carr and Vin about it, since they were the last to speak with him.
How the hell did he go missing? There was plenty of activity there. All right. So Carr will kind of step out into her room, kind of leave everyone there, and she'll return the call.
Okay, and we'll say you kind of get eventually forwarded along to Deputy Harris. So this is Sheriff's Deputy Harris. I'm sorry, Sheriff's not available at this moment. As you can imagine, he's speaking with the family, speaking with with Harold and Deborah Benton. He was wondering if it's possible for one or two of you folk to get on down to the hospital. The parents are quite upset, and two of your agents, I think, were the ones who were the last to speak to him outside of his doctors and nurses and family. So trying to get to the bottom of this, how a man in a relatively terrible state as Jeremy was in suddenly got up and left.
That makes no sense. And his mother was right there when we were talking to him, and she wouldn't leave his side.
That's correct. Apparently it happened while she was asleep in the same room. It's a very... Yeah, you probably just want to get on down to the hospital, I think.
Understood. I will grab my colleague, and we'll come on down. Thank you for letting us know. I know it's barely been 8 hours, but any forensics able to be, fingerprints off the fingers or forensics off the body or anything?
And like there's a pause, and then like a little clearing of the throat, and yes, well, we haven't gotten any forensics in yet. However, the parents of Emily Hernandez were able to identify the silver chain that was found on the body. Apparently, that was hers, and those were the names of her pet dogs. It's not confirming anything, of course. Nothing's confirmed until the tests come in, but
the forensics on that are just not going to make sense. The state of that body just did not match the time that she was gone. But
I'm not a doctor, ma'am.
Understood. What about the fingers? Able to grab any fingerprints off those, or?
Yes, ma'am. Those the fingerprints matched Nicholas Karras. Well, partial fingerprints, partial match, I should say.
Did anyone find more than just fingers out there, or are we still hopeful that perhaps Nick might still be?
We did a very thorough sweep and found no additional evidence. There are still some folks out there doing some evidence collection, and we're using that more of a ground in which we can kind of sweep around and search. We'll update as information becomes available.
I appreciate the update. We will get on down to the hospital. Thank you for the notification.
Yes, ma'am. Hangs up the phone.
Or we'll go back over to Chopra's room.
We'll say all the while you guys have been
they were talking, yeah.
like loading up your trucks or something like that, or if there's like getting ready to leave, it's like you catch everyone out in the parking lot or something. But all of you, like maybe you all got the message. Like all of you got that initial voicemail. Like it's just a courtesy voicemail, whatever numbers, like official numbers you were given or you gave over. So we'll say we're either in the parking lot or we're in the room. All of you are together.
Where did you get him?
I somehow, while Mom was asleep in his room, he got up. Now, Price, he didn't look like he was going to be getting up and ambulating anytime soon, but he did. Walked right out of there.
They said he walked out.
Well, he disappeared.
He disappeared.
He was there. And they are assuming that he left, but they're requesting our presence to have a conversation with the parents. Can we make a pit stop on our way out there?
He was very afraid for his life.
Well, and they're assuming that he just got up and walked out, but given things that we've been seeing, what was that, Chopra, that you're kind of talking about? Dimensional whatever, things appearing and disappearing and all that.
Chopra's got the 2 pieces of paper in her pocket. She pulls them both out. Like, yeah, dimensional anomalies.
He
Well,
was talking about invisible creatures.
You all heard the audio this morning. There are things that should not be around that are around, and maybe they're the ones causing the dimensional anomalies, or maybe they are here because of the dimensional anomalies, but either way they feel linked.
well, Price, I did promise that we would make a quick ride over to the hospital, so if we can get over there, and I don't know, maybe there'll be something he said.
Yeah, more detail sounds good. Feels
check
like
the
we're not getting the whole
cameras?
story.
Oh, good call. See what any hospital cameras might show.
Okay,
Anyone else coming with? Just us?
It's like a huddle up
All
and
right.
break and go. Okay, so where's everyone going?
We're all going there.
Okay, everyone's going?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So yeah, we'll just get over there. Fast forward, we're there, parking lot. There's some news vans. You can see there's a little bit of a presence outside. Lots of various professional, or I should say, law enforcement vehicles. You can see a lot of different like security vehicles, like private security, like hospital security, whatever they have on call. You flash your badges, you're able to get in. Not an issue, and you will very quickly and easily find yourself face to face with Sheriff Tom Gus, and he looks like he hasn't slept. And he kind of, when he sees you all come in, he kind of like motions to whoever it is that he was talking to. It looks like one of the hospital staff. He walks over to the 5 of you. Thank you all for coming.
Jeff, I'm so sorry. Can we say that Chopra's outside like she's fully in getaway car mode?
You're what?
She's outside in the car. Like,
Okay, so just the 4 of us going.
yeah, just the 4 of you, not her,
Okay.
if that's okay.
That's fine. So the four of you go inside, and you are face to face with this sheriff, and appreciate y'all coming. And I don't think he's actually met Price, Inferno, or Carr just yet, so he introduces himself, shakes your hands. Now, the parents said that I think it was the two of you that had words with Jeremy last night. Is that right? Or yesterday, I should say?
Yep, yesterday morning.
That's correct.
Okay. And now, did he at any point show the ability to kind of get up, be ambulatory, move around, anything like that?
No, he was still pretty injured.
Absolutely.
He was very frightened.
Yeah.
The only way I could see him getting up would be a huge burst of adrenaline.
I see. Well, I'm going to just kind of lay it out for you. We have a bit of an odd situation here. After about 9, the night nurse, 9 p.m., the night nurse went in to check on Jeremy, and condition hadn't changed. He was asleep. His mom, Deborah, was in the corner in her usual spot, sleeping. Father, Harold, cameras have him down in the chapel. At 1 a.m., when the night nurse returned, Jeremy was gone. Deborah was asleep in the chair. Harold had returned from the chapel, and he was dozed off in one of the seats outside in the hallway. Jeremy's clothes, his bed's clothes, his IV, all of it was undisturbed, as if in the bed itself. And so if he escaped, he was either in his boxers or was naked, unless he stole clothes from somewhere else. We have gone around, we've spoken to most of the staff here, most of security, the parents, who are, as you might expect, very upset. There are at least somewhere between 6 to 8 folk who would have been there. The janitor moves around, might have been there a little bit of time, might have been there or not, but at least six, more like 8 folks coming and going, and none saw him come out in the hall. The windows don't look as though they've been messed with. Deborah, Miss Benton never woke up. So you were brought in as special agents because of extenuating circumstances. So I would like you to, if you don't mind, do your magic. I still got a couple missing kids out there. We got a body.
Of course.
We'll
see what we can do. You said the gown was still in the bed?
Yes, sir.
Like under the blankets in the bed?
Yes, sir.
That's a bit odd.
Yes, sir.
Can we view the room and also the any camera footage?
I've already arranged hospital security. Has the hours in question. They got that settled for you. You want to head right down that hall. Second door on your left, right there. Man's Timothy. That's his name. He'll give you a hand. And the hospital's been notified that you all are going to look into this for us.
Thank you, Sheriff. Yeah, we'll let you know what we hear, and if we got any questions, we'll call you.
You can tell this guy is like, you can tell like you can hear it in his voice. The guy is just like at his wit's end. Like he's you guys just got here a couple days ago. He's been dealing with this for over a week. He's had CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, local, like he's got a congresswoman, he's got this, that, like you can tell like he is like on the verge of breaking, and you can just hear the exhaustion. He's like, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. He kind of hands over his card, and he writes a number on the back like, this here's my personal cell. If you want to get through to me directly, you don't want to go to the office, go ahead and call that right there. You find anything, you let me know.
Thank you. I do have a quick question for you.
I don't got the time. And he just takes his card back and runs away. No, yes, go right ahead.
I understand that Emily's parents were brought in for identification. has the Congresswoman also been brought in?
You can see he takes like a big inhale, but doesn't fully exhale. The Congresswoman has been notified, yes. We've had several conversations this morning.
I imagine this has been quite the stressful morning for you.
It has, but that is to presume that morning and night just don't blend in to each other anymore. So, anyhow, I need a cup of coffee. You've got my number.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Godspeed. And at that point, he leaves, and you can see he kind of whistles over. One of his deputies comes over, and the two of them kind of leave the floor. And you guys can, like, they know that you're allowed to do stuff. So, where would you all go? What would you do?
We'll check the tapes. They point to Weaver.
Okay. Weaver, Inferno, you go down the hall towards security. Carr and Price, what do you two do?
Go to the room, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So Inferno, Weaver, we'll start you. You're right down the hall. So you go down the hall, knock on the door, open it up. You can see there's a kind of a fairly portly looking man in his 50s. And you can see he's got a little bit of stubble. And he's got a big old like tumbler of coffee. And he's just kind of, are you all the FBI special agents in charge and everything?
Yeah, it's us. Can you show us what you got?
Right, absolutely. There's not much to look at, though, I'm afraid. And so I got it all queued up for you right over here. And he kind of just pushes himself off the counter, like, and he kind of slides over to this other and he brings it up, and you can see on like one of these flat screens he's got like affixed to the wall. This here is the hallway camera outside Mr. Benton's room. There aren't cameras inside the patient's rooms, but we do have it in the hallway here. This is everything from 9 p.m. Till just shortly after 1 a.m. When the nurse returned and found him missing. And he's kind of moving it at speed, and you can see most of it is just like normal stuff, like kind of normal back and forth, normal, here we go, nothing. And the only time you notice anything, any kind of blip, any kind of weirdness is like just after the nurse goes into the room, just after 1 a.m. at like 1:05 a.m. goes in and then bursts back out and starts freaking out. And like looking around and like calling down the hall, and someone comes. The Herald you see, who had dozed off on the on one of these like cushion chairs in the hallway, wakes up and starts panicking, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, there's just not much to see, and he just goes through this really fast. It's like you're just seeing this, like yep, nothing. Okay, here we go. Here's a little bit. All right, nothing. But yeah, so that's what he shows you.
Can we see just moments before the incident, just keep replaying that part over and over, just to catch anything?
Sure. Yeah. If you want to roll a search, Inferno.
Okay.
Weaver, you're welcome to do it too.
47 under 74.
Look at you, man. Okay. There is one moment that he kind of glosses over pretty fast that looks a little it's kind of a little anomalous, is that you do see most of the traffic is official traffic. So you can see someone is like in nurse clothes, like they got their scrubs on. You can see a doctor comes by. You can see a janitor comes by. Like everyone's recognizable. And then you see the Father Herald as well. There's only one that isn't in a uniform or isn't in a isn't Harold, like isn't recognizable, or isn't the mother like kind of peeking out and saying something to Harold. It is a little past 10, close to 10:30. You see a woman comes down the hall, blonde. She's got a ponytail, and she's dressed casual clothes. Doesn't have any kind of uniform on or anything like that. You can see she walks down the hall, appears in the camera, goes past Jeremy's door, pauses, and then she like turns towards where Harold is, and he wasn't asleep at that time, and they talk. She smiles, and then she walks away. Other than that, it's pure business as usual. And since it's late at night, there's very little traffic at all.
Here, Weaver, there's a blonde woman.
So, yeah, that's the only angle we got of the hallway here. So,
What about exterior cameras?
Yeah, we got a couple of those. Sure. Give me 1 second to get them spooled up. We'll cut while we're getting those spooled up to Price and Carr. If you go over to the room, and you can see that inside the room, which is now no longer like you can see the Benton parents aren't nearby. They removed them to like a special place. This is like a crime. They're almost treating this like a crime scene at this point. Sure. And when you look inside, you can see that everything he kind of just said is sort of accurate, and that everything's here. You can see there's his bed. The sheet is kind of like half on it, and like you can see his gown is there on it. You can see his IV is still in the spot. You can see some of his like he doesn't have like the clothes that he had that he was wearing are still in here, and you can see like they're in a bag, or the clothes that maybe the parents brought or something like that, and like they're in a bag off to the side, untouched. What are you two doing while you're here?
Do the windows open?
Yeah, you go over and they do, but they are one of those kind of like push opens, and they make a ton of noise. Like when you actually push it open, you just hear this large creak, and like it opens up, and it doesn't like open wide, but it does give maybe like a 2 foot. Like someone could slip through here, but you're also, you're on the second floor, and so it is a bit of a drop. And this kind of backs up to like the back of the hospital. You can see like there's an access road back here, and there's some official cars parked around here, and then there's just sort of like wasteland. But like this isn't like the front side where like the sort of public parking is.
I stick my head out the window and look down. Do the bushes or landscaping look like a college kid has landed in them recently?
What's your search?
Can I roll it? It's 51.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
You want to fail so that you can improve it.
I rolled a 3.
Because if you crit fail, I would have you fall out the window. Like just so that's the risk.
I passed. It's a 3 under 51.
It's a 3.
So
don't see you don't see any signs of like broken branches or anything like that in the bushes. Everything looks fine.
Carr wants to look at the bed and just like, we're kind of operating from the perspective that he just sort of poofed, and like, everything is exactly where it was, and kind of really just looking to see like, does it really look like, there was, as Price has said before, sort of a gown under a blanket, and then just suddenly there wasn't anything holding it up anymore, and it just kind of collapsed in place.
I mean, taking a look at the bed, like conceivably someone could have just taken their, the gown off and like draped it there in such a way, and the sheet just got over it again. Like, it's also possible that he could have poofed. Like that could have like, I could go either way. Like, but it's really just, unless you had some kind of like imagery of it, like an image or a camera or video on it, like it's hard to conclude.
Yeah, because there's definitely a difference between kind of, it's where it would be versus it's, kind of draped over the foot of the bed, or, kind of different things like that.
You got raptured. Well, nice. Really nice.
We've been left behind.
I do love the leftovers. Isn't that right there, Maitre? In the bishop.
I love that you introduced me to the leftovers.
Have you gotten to season 3 yet?
No, I haven't yet.
We need to talk because like I'm still processing all these years later. Okay. So what else are the two of you doing by this room?
I'm not seeing anything that they didn't already notice over here. Like it's just anything by the window.
He didn't get out this way. She would have woke up. You remember her? She was so on edge.
I mean, they're looking at the video, but I mean, I'm sure first thing they did is look to see if they saw somebody walking out down the hall. So, should we see if we can find one of them? Maybe if they remember last thing he said before dozing off for the night.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun conversation. Real quick, I would like to just check like the sheets and the blankets. I remember he had injuries where he got like cut, and it was like a very clean, like a sharp cut. I would just like to see if there's any sort of tears or rips in like the sheets or anything like that.
Yeah, we'll roll over your search. You don't.
I can roll again.
No. You don't notice any damage to the sheets. Everything looks fine. You don't see any stains on the sheets to suggest like he took new wounds. Everything was bandaged and everything, or stitched or whatever. But no, nothing like that.
Yeah, let's go have a tough conversation.
You just walk out into the hall. You've been talking to each other, and you hear a voice from across the hall, and you're like, "Hey, you all looking for that fella?" It's coming from like the room across the hall.
I walk over to the room. Yes, we are. You see it happen?
You look
see where he
inside.
went?
You see this like young dude laid out in a hospital bed, blondish hair. He's a little pale, like he's lost some blood, and he's another patient. And he's like, no, I didn't see nothing, but I tried to tell the deputy. You can tell he's drugged. I tried to tell some of the deputies that what I heard last night, but they didn't listen to me. They just gave me jello. Anyhow, I was trying to sleep after they took out my appendix. And I heard some voices at one point out in the hall, and it was real dark, and maybe it was in my room I heard it.
Voices, what were they talking about?
Oh, right. I heard someone say, like kind of whisper like, because they didn't like want folks to hear. They said, come on, it's time to go home. And then there was like a moan or a whimper, something like that. I couldn't see anything, and then I fell back to sleep.
You hear like a gurney or anything like that, or
What's a gurney?
like a bed on wheels?
Oh, you mean like a gurney? No, I didn't hear nothing like that.
So into this kid.
Did you hear anything?
Nope,
weren't
I
here
wasn't
last night.
Wasn't here.
Why not?
What kind of jello you got?
Pudding? Breads?
I like the gelatin.
So the voices, were they? Was it a man? Was it a woman? The whispering.
Oh.
So was it a
was a
man or a
woman.
woman?
Woman's voice. Like a... Sort of sounded like my grandmother.
So an older woman?
But my grandma, she lives in Detroit, so that doesn't really... Unless she came to visit me.
It was your... I think your
Grandma, are
grandma...
you out? Is my grandma out there?
No, your grandma would have come in here to take you home.
Well, no, we had a falling out a long time ago. I
Sorry.
used to live with her, you see. Anyhow.
Sure. So the whispering, they said, come on, it's time to go home.
That's right.
And do you remember, like, about what time did you come back from having your appendix out?
I
take his Jello and I go.
I don't know. He took my Jello.
Well, I'm sure he was going to get you some better Jello. It's a hospital there, chock full of Jello.
APBs
On your Jello, it's right
thief.
there. At APB closed. I have found your Jello in the hallway.
He just picks up one of his old cups and starts licking it.
Oh, well, thank you. What
You want
was your
some?
name, sir?
Did they change it?
What is your name, sir?
Oh, I'm Rod.
Rod? It's thank you,
Yeah.
Rod. Sorry that the deputies didn't want to listen to you, but we're glad that you pulled us over.
I pulled you over? Were you speeding or something?
You know what?
Am I a
I'm gonna
cop?
go get you some Jello. I'm gonna go get you some more Jello. You stay right there. And she just kind of walks her way out of the room.
Okay. And we'll cut from there. And thank AMPZND for the raid. Appreciate it very much.
Welcome.
And then we will cut outside and we'll check in with Chopra. So Chopra, you wanted to stay back. You can see that it's not like it's a little bit of a media circus, but it's not like there's a ton of. It's not like outside of the sheriff's office, but you can see that there's a series of like these deputy cars, sheriff's cars, etc. At a certain point, you do see the sheriff come out with the deputy. They kind of get in the vehicle and they drive away. While everyone is inside doing their thing, what is Chopra up to out here?
She's really in like getaway car mode. Like if they need to peel out, like that was the intention. So her eyes keep like flicking to the entrance just to see if like they are coming out in any kind of hurried way or anything.
Okay.
But while she's waiting, what she's specifically doing is basically replaying, like looking at all the pictures once again, like on her laptop, and specifically that one that like changed every time they zoomed in. So she just like, I need to figure this out. Like there's something here and I need to figure it out, and she's just kind of obsessing about that.
You have like experience with SIGINT and everything. So
I do.
What do you at? Like what's the number? What do you at?
42.
I would say the one extra thing you could probably glean that maybe wasn't so obvious immediately when kind of rapidly flipping through them and now like zooming in on it. Like you see this like tower at like a mid distance, and it's got a dish coming off of it, and you're fairly confident that is it's a dish that's specifically pointed and geared towards like pulling in signals of an anomalous variety. Like it's not like a cell tower. It's not like it's not astronomical. Like this isn't like a college research facility. Like this is something that maybe you've seen some various like private projects for like companies that are trying to like read deep space signals and stuff like that. It has that kind of design
my mind
to it.
immediately goes to like SETI. Is that okay?
It's got that sort of design to it. It's just the one though.
Okay.
And you would think that there might be like more equipment, but at the same time, every time you zoom, like these different images, these different like eras are like almost like double exposed, over top of each other. It's a digital camera, so it's not really what it is, but it's kind of has that feeling in some cases.
Right.
But yeah, that would probably give you that vibe.
Okay, so seeing that then triggers the memory of the defense bill that they talked about earlier, just like 12 hours ago or whatever.
Mhm.
And she's gonna look up that bill
Okay.
and see if there's any specifics on the, because I mean broadly it's an infrastructure bill, but like specifically their
Right.
locations, are there mentions of what they are looking to build, like that kind of thing.
Okay. This is going to be more like a bureaucracy kind of bill or kind of role. To really kind of dig into like the nuts and bolts of like of law and funding and all that kind of stuff. So it's more like bureaucracy.
Yeah.
While you're
Can
doing
I
that,
get a boost smell? So I'm rolling
Yep, got
40
it.
instead
Got it,
of
March.
30.
I'm gonna say thank you to Onyx Path for the raid. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Nice.
Success with the 7.
Okay. So the bill specifically is about allocating funding to a massive expansion and supposedly modernization of various defense, like from the Department of Defense and intelligence facilities. And that includes some money for like new research and operational centers in remote areas of the country. The contention seems to be, at least from those who are against the bill, is that they think these various sites are going to be used for spying on citizens. It's the idea it's going to actually be there to kind of tap into all sorts of different things in ways more intrusive than just selling data on online and stuff like that. That seems to be sort of a significant chunk of it. And there is a list of various sites that are in limbo, and they're awaiting, like maybe you find as you're here, you're flipping through your phone. Smartphones are out in 2014, we're good. And you're flipping through it, and you do see that there's a list of various locations that are kind of in limbo for funding. And one of them is Kingman.
Okay. Is there any mention of like the contractor or vendor involved or anything?
There is it's apparently there's sort of a competition over this defense contract, this DoD contract.
Right.
And the bidder, or at least the one that would receive the funding as of today, if the bill were to pass, is Marsh Technologies.
Okay. So this is a meta question, Jeff, because my 3 is forgetting, but Congressman What's-Face is under fire for opposing the bill?
For holding it up.
For holding it up, okay.
Yeah. Which doesn't necessarily mean she's opposing it. It's more likely because she's a very, I would say that you would be able to very easily learn about her that she is a very conservative minded politician. And so this was the type of thing that she would be very much probably in favor of. However, the sort of the scuttlebutt is that she's trying to get something for it. Like she's trying to essentially get something for this first. And so she's just holding it up. Like her vote's going to come.
Got it.
And there seems to be like a standoff between like whoever she's trying to get that extra kickback from. Just kind of who's gonna blink first, because like you're gonna vote for this anyway.
Okay.
It's not like you're not gonna let this through. And she's like, well, why do something for free when you can get paid for it? And so that seems to be like the discussion.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm cheating a little by like in real life being in energy because like so much of like the legislation and the bidding and everything like works so similarly.
Hey, if you know it, use it.
Absolutely.
I feel a little bit bad, but
Just
only
a little tiny bit.
What's your alertness? What's your alertness? By the way?
Alertness is probably up. I have it up at 60.
60. You hear as you're reading this and you see this motorcycle weaving through all these various parked cars like it doesn't give a shit. And you see emerging and like parking by what looks to be like a side of the hospital. Your rider. You've seen him multiple times before. And your 60 is high enough that you see what appears to be like a worker from the hospital come out. They got scrubs on. You're not sure what they are. They could be a dietary brand, who knows. But they come out, they got scrubs on. And you see a small exchange. And Chopra, you know a drug deal when you see one happening. And that's exactly what's happening. You see like the guy in the what's it called? In the scrubs. I keep forgetting scrubs. Why can't I remember the word scrubs?
Because you don't want no scrubs.
I don't. But it was such a good show. Okay. Like it's essentially like kind of giving him like a chunk of product. Like you can see like this dude's grabbing like heavy duty and then kind of packs it away in one of his side carts and then and you just see drives away.
Okay.
Meanwhile, let's cut back inside to Inferno and Weaver, and Officer Timothy has been telling you about his son's T-ball league as he's been trying to get this footage up, and he's just like, yeah, Timothy Jr. just, I don't know. He keeps. You ever watch a T-ball game before? It's just excruciating. I'll be honest with you. He keeps running the wrong way down the bases. He runs down the damn third baseline. It's just, oh man. Do you have kids?
Nah, I'm too young for kids.
Yeah.
He looks at you. Looks at Weaver or Davis.
She's an ornery preteen at this point.
Oh goodness, preteens. Oh, I got a daughter, but she's only 3, thank God. Oh, I'm not looking forward to... Oh, here we go. And he pulls it up, and you can see he puts onto the screen some exterior camera views. Okay, we got multiple cameras. We got a couple in the back of the hospital sides. All the entrances out front, we got a couple as well. So, yeah, here they are. And he just kind of like does a grid splay of them. What are your searches?
74.
36.
Okay. Inferno, you're going to get something for free. Weaver, you need to roll a search. But you can roll with plus 20 because you can stop and pause and rewind and stop and pause and rewind it to your heart's content. So take a plus 20. And let me know how you both
34.
do.
Pass.
Excellent. Well done. Okay. First thing you notice, Inferno. We'll start with you. And it makes sense for you to be the one who notices this. Because you see during a large chunk of time, there is a bird perched atop the window above Jeremy's room. And like Timothy's like, yeah, that's the room right there. And you can see this big bird of prey perched right up top. You're not sure if it's like on a security light or on a ledge. You're not sure exactly what it's perched up because it's kind of dark, but you can see that there it is.
Say it's big, but is it unusual or is it pretty normal?
When I say big, I don't mean it's like a giant albatross condor type of thing, but it's not just a pigeon. Like it's it's like a hawk or eagle or actually no, I would say you specifically right this moment. It's kind of a weird angle because essentially what you're looking at is you're looking at a camera angle from what effectively is like the northwest corner on the third floor of the hospital and the northeast corner, and both of them are like crisscrossing, so they can each get angles of the back of the hospital, and you can see like the loading dock and stuff like that. And so you get a weird glimpse of it, but you can see it, and it's got this golden and golden brown color that looks a hell of a lot like the bird that you saw in North Carolina. Which means, of course, I need you to roll a sand test.
Damn
No.
While we are seeing like weird stuff, just for clarification's sake, Lisa is taking pictures on her phone.
Okay.
So like she's got a picture of that
Sure.
woman's face, this bird.
46 failed.
Inferno. That's another 1 point. It's from helplessness, though. Do you have immunity to helplessness? I should tell you guys this. I always forget, but you can always
No,
prompt
not.
me. You can always push it off, too.
I'll take it. I need the willpower.
Okay. All right.
Mark off that helplessness.
Oh,
Check
boy.
it off.
Okay. So while Inferno fixates on this bird, Weaver, you're looking at some of the other angles and images. There's nothing from the front that is of interest. You don't see anything that catches you out of the ordinary. Nothing from like the east angles, the west angles. You do notice something though, Weaver. You notice that at around... Well, actually, you notice that there is in the back of the hospital, most of the vehicles back here are like official vehicles. And then late at night, there's not that many vehicles here. And when I say official, I mean like you can see like there's like a maybe an ambulance or something like that, or like a delivery truck. Like that's what's seen during the day. And then it looks like maybe some employee parking and stuff. You see a unmarked black SUV parked outside, kind of not on the road, but kind of off the access road. And it's running effectively parallel to the hospital. And it is not immediately under Benton's window, but pretty close. Meaning like in terms of how it's aligned, it's still like across the auxiliary road. You notice that around 10 p.m., after the SUV was parked for a couple hours, you see it didn't arrive until dark. You see a blonde woman gets out of the vehicle, or light-colored hair, I should say. It's all black and white, so you don't know for sure. Gets out of the vehicle and leaves. You're able to track her movements with some of the other angles, and she goes inside the hospital.
Is she wearing the same clothes as the blonde woman who spoke to the father?
You didn't see that. Actually, yeah, you did. Yes, right. What am I talking about? You did see that. Yeah. Yes, in fact, you were able to very easily identify her, especially once she gets into the entrance. For some reason, I had in my mind like that was Steven and Melissa. I'm stupid.
No, you're good.
At a certain point, she does return. And then at one point, at around 11 p.m., a car drives past the SUV, stops, and you see there's like an exchange. Like a bag is handed out from the car, from like the driver of the car to the parked vehicle. What'd you roll?
I rolled a 34 under a 36, or 56 with the bonus 20.
Okay. The driver of the vehicle that's like handing the bag over, you can it's a male. Can't quite make out a ton of features. He does like from the way the light's hitting, because there's not a lot of light back here, but it's just sort of like security lights and such. You think you would say you're unable to make a pretty clear ID, I would say, but you can tell it's male, and you're pretty sure it's not a light skinned, not Caucasian man. You're thinking it's perhaps African American man, or you're not entirely sure.
Okay.
And that's what the two of you find.
I get pictures of all of it. I send them out to the team. And then I asked, it's Tim in the room with us, right?
Timothy Sr.
Yeah. Sir, do you know where the parents have been moved to?
There's private rooms on the wing up the floor where sometimes folks wait in operations and sometimes where they're grieving. That's where they've been moved to, yes.
Okay. We may be back, but I think I have what I need right now. Were we able to get any license plates off of
Nope.
the vehicles? Okay.
Everything's
Got it.
like dark and unmarked, like they're specifically
Got it.
sort
Yeah.
of shading that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, then Lisa really wouldn't be looking for anything else, and if Luke is still kind of out of it, she'll kind of loop her arm with his and lead him out of the room if he'll let her.
Yeah, that's fine.
We should talk to the dad and see if he knows who that blonde woman is.
Let's go find him.
We'll say the four of you maybe meet up briefly at like somewhere in like a centralized location by an elevator or something like that as you finish up your various conversations. And I think both of you, didn't Price, you wanted to go talk to the parents?
That was the plan. I don't know if we said it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you would mention it. So we'll say the four of you happen to run into each other as you're going there, and you're outside of this door that goes into where the Bentons are. And you see the four of each other. You see Inferno looks a little shaky. You can see kind of he looks better than yesterday still, but you can tell he's got like a little far away look in his eye. But that's what you all. Do you guys go in? Do you guys talk first?
Yeah, we've got
Ben
a
has
blonde
his-
woman. And the only thing I saw was father spoke to her.
Like a woman who was outside in the hall?
That's what we saw, yeah.
Yeah, and so we do a quick debrief. I texted you photos.
Okay. Yeah, the kid across the hall is very drugged up, but he swore that he heard an older woman whispering, "Time to go home." And you're saying that you saw a blonde woman in the video. I'll talk to the mom.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go inside, you can see again. It's a private waiting room basically. If you've never been in one of these, like some hospitals have these private waiting rooms, and you can see there's these chairs and things, and you can see the two parents are in here, and they both get up when they see the four of you walk in, and Deborah, who Carr and Price have already met. Did you find him? Did you find him? Please tell me you found him. Please tell me you found him. She kind of comes over towards you, like you can tell she's been crying for the past hour.
No, I'm sorry. We have not.
Not again. Oh my goodness, I can't go through this again. Oh my god. And she's like just freaking
Have a
the hell
seat.
out.
Just have a seat. Wanted to just come over and just ask how did the rest of yesterday go?
It went no change. Like you left and he didn't say nothing else, and he just slept. And he got up at one point. He woke, I should say. He didn't get up. He woke, and we fed him, and then he went back to sleep.
Is there anything that he said or?
He didn't say anything. Nothing.
And he was still very weak. Did that change at all throughout the day?
What do I have to tell you? Nothing was different. Nothing. And she's just like,
All
you
right.
can tell, is just freaking out, losing her patience at this point. Not mad at you, but just like,
No. Yeah.
I answer 100 questions for you. I answer 100 questions for them. He was the same as he's been since he came back.
I'm so sorry. We are only asking questions 3-4 times just to be thorough.
Well, stop
We're
asking
looking for
questions
everything
and
we
go
can.
look for him. He's not
Sure, Ben.
here. What'd you
Ben,
say?
if you please could describe the small exchange you had with the woman last night.
What? What do you mean? What?
We have a little picture on surveillance. You could see him here.
And like
I don't know
Lisa will
what you're
then
talking about.
come in with timestamps of the time that they interacted.
And he looks
And,
at
like-
it. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, she was just asking where the vending machines were.
You don't know her name. She didn't introduce herself.
No, she just said sorry to bother me. Do you something about getting her head all turned around and lost? Do you know where the vending machines are?
Can you describe what she looked like at all?
I mean, like that. You got the picture right there. She's young, white. She's blonde hair. You know, she had jeans on or something. It was a nothing thing.
There was a lot of nothing, that's for sure.
You think this woman she was involved? Like, she just wanted to know where she can get a Diet Coke.
We're just going through all avenues. She's just an unknown woman on the floor. So we're just seeking to see if we can establish who she is.
Okay. I didn't ask. We didn't have a conversation. Look, you can see it's like 10 seconds.
And Lisa kind of nods at that
She
point.
didn't come back.
That's all I need to know. Thank you.
You think she's involved with this?
It's our only suspect so far.
And you can just see he sits down. I said I wanted to get him out of here. Kind of looks up at Price. I told you I wanted to get him out of here. I told you this is a bad place. He just puts his hands in his head and he's just kind of like, I told you this place was bad. It's evil here. And his hands is just kind of like rocking back and forth.
Mr. Benton, I don't think the problem is the place. All right. We're working on it. We'll try to get your son back.
Yeah. All right. And he just kind of looks like deflated and defeated as he just sort of like sinks into the chair. And he's a big guy. Remember, he's a big guy, he's got old man muscle, and he just kind of sinks down and just looks like he's deflated and exhausted. And then like Deborah kind of comes over and she just kind of like puts an arm around his big old shoulders, and the two of them just kind of nestle their heads together.
And Lisa will do a play, if you excuse me, and she's gonna actually head down to like the front desk to see if they have like a sign-in sheet or something for all visitors who enter the building, and look for that time of night to see if this woman signed in, gave a name or something to that extent.
From the footage that you saw, she did go up to the central desk. She just go, and like there is like a sign in here and everything like that. You go through it and you see that the name, like I'll say, like we'll give you the time, like she'll kind of flip through. There's not that many names.
Yeah.
And you see Sarah Wynn. Wynn.
Okay.
And one of them H Sarahs, those weirdos. No offense.
And
I don't know why I said that.
if this woman is the person who worked the front desk that night, she's gonna ask if she stated who she's going to visit.
She's not.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, like this was 12 hours ago at this point.
Gotcha.
I would say that Carr would kind of make eye contact with Inferno and Price, and kind of the Jeremy's parents are kind of consoling each other. We'll just kind of do the kind of nod and kind of vaguely just sort of kind of gesture in their direction. We'll kind of see what else we can find and kind of back out of that room.
Yeah, it's
You'll
probably
excuse
very
us.
clear in Price's body language that he does not want to be in this room and he's very uncomfortable.
We'll make sure to get your boy back.
Okay. As the three of you are leaving the room, there's a TV on. It's muted. And you can see, we'll say it's CNN. And you can see, like, there's, both of you have very high alertnesses. Not that there's a danger here, but you're always kind of taken in the surroundings. And you can see there is, like, a camera crew that's, like, knocking on a door. And there's like the banner at the bottom mentions a name, and you can see, like, Enrique Navarro, spiritual guru, and like the door opens up and you can see there's this aged like indigenous man. You can see wrinkled face, kind of gray white hair, and like he's just kind of trying to wave them off a bit, and but they're putting a camera in his face and putting the microphone up, and he kind of resigns himself, and he's just sort of talking, but you can't hear anything. It's just muted. And then they show a couple pictures here and there, and you can see, like, pictures of, like, his books, and so they put them up, and they show pictures of him with, like, throughout his time, and they show pictures of him as a boy. That apparently, like, they took when he was found, pictures of him a little bit older, giving him, like, lectures and things like that here and there. Price and Inferno, you both almost stumble as you're coming out, because you see on the screen an image pops up, and you've seen that picture before. You've seen that photo. You see a framed photo of that on the shelf of Ronnie Lightside / Frank Ryder's home in North Carolina. And you see there's 3 men sitting around what looks like a coffee, not a coffee table, but like a bistro table with various, like, coffees and like breakfast foods and things like that. Or drinks. You probably wouldn't be sure. Just drinks around the table. And there's like the little, you can see that they put like a little image of, or like a little text under it. It's like, here he is with, like, Fritz Lieber and Frank Ryder, other renowned writers, and just kind of shows him at, like, another, like a quick cut to, like, this other place where, like, that you see him taking an award, like a writer's award here or there. And, like, you just see it, both of you, out of the corner of your eye. A young Ronnie Lightside. It's him. He's got the damn Hawaiian shirts on. He's younger. He's probably in his 20s, but you can see the face. It's right there. And that's what you see as you're in the doorway.
That happened on TV.
That happened on TV. It's like someone was interviewing him reluctantly, and then they were, like, interspersing, like, B-roll and stuff while the conversation was happening.
You gotta go talk to him.
Navarro.
Yeah.
You know where he lives.
We'll have to figure it out. If he knew Ronnie, like, there's a connection. There's a through line here.
What are you two talking about?
Navarro knew an old friend.
Oh, the writer guy that lives in Vegas?
He's in Vegas.
Yeah.
Varro is in Vegas.
Yeah. You would know that. It's well done information.
Don't think we're
So-
going to him anytime soon.
Get out in the desert and then we'll start driving.
Okay. Why don't we say you all leave this poor couple and close the door
They'll be fine. They don't want me as a counselor anyways.
Meet up with Weaver and Chopra, and you guys are in your car, or you're outside your car, or whatever it is. And we'll say the 5 of you are together right now. It is, we'll say, the time it took to like go through and do these questions and search the room and search through this and go through your research on your phone to learn about the act. We'll say a couple, maybe 2 hours have passed. So it's still morning, but it's later in the AM. So it's not quite noon. What would you guys say to each other? What would you talk about at this point?
I'm definitely sharing about the tower, and what I found about the bill, and we'll end by frustratedly saying that fucking biker showed up again.
Oh, I said we'd all be together next time we saw him, and we weren't all together. Damn.
What do you care about a biker for?
I've just been seeing this dude, and
What
last
does
night
he
I had a
look
dream,
like?
and he was in the dream, and then I saw him again today, and it looked like he was buying drugs from the hotel, from the hospital. Pardon me.
Like
Uh,
a handoff?
I don't know, I guess. I mean, if he's buying drugs from a hospital, they're probably pretty good drugs. And I mean, I know enough bikers to know that they don't traffic in dirt pot.
well, the leads are adding up. So there's no
Biker
physical
doesn't have to
sign of
do
anything.
Anything with anything, you know? Maybe it's just a local that I'm seeing around.
You never know. Never know.
I don't know. Here's the screenshots of everything that we saw on like the video footage. So she shows like the woman, like she sends it out to you guys so you have it. The like bird thing, the black, SUV car, and then the other car coming up and the handoff and stuff like that. And then that's kind of when she starts to see if she can like Google image search or search by the name online to see if anything pulls up for
Sarah Wynn.
Sarah Wynn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't find anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just comes up. I mean, Sarah Wynn, like that pops like crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like there's dozens of them. Especially, like in Northern Arizona, there's just dozens. And then
Yeah.
image searching, not really working. You try to do like data. You try to, if you had access to a law enforcement database, maybe you might have more luck with that, but just sort of like Google image reverse searching for a face in 2014 is probably not gonna give you as
at
much
that
as you
point,
think.
If she's not hitting up anything, that's when she'll actually like
This takes
reach
time
out.
though. Like let's like this
Okay.
that would take time. It's not like an instant thing.
couple
You could be
hours.
like flipping. I don't even know. I wouldn't even say a couple hours. But I would say you're just like in the car or whatever it is, just going through your phone as best you can. Like you're limited. You only have a phone, so like you're limited
Exactly.
to what you can do. But what about the rest of you then? While Weaver is on her phone trying to dig into this, trying to find anything with this woman.
Are we good to go back into the desert?
Sooner rather than later. We don't want to be heading out at 3 o'clock again like we did yesterday.
Yeah, so we'll be taking the car this time, and we should be able to follow like tire tracks and stuff like that. So I'm not like we'll have our GPS and stuff, but I think we'll just be making sure the car is equipped so that we won't run into the same sort of like problems we did last time.
Sounds good.
Okay. So that's the case. So you all get back in your vehicles. You get whatever supplies that you wanted to get, water, fuel, etc. You drive back out of Kingman proper, up maybe towards the trailhead or near enough to the trailhead. And we'll end there as you all prepare to go back out into this desert that nearly killed you yesterday.
I'd like
Okay.
to imagine a little montage where like a case of water goes in, 2 jerry cans of gas go in, and then 2 boxes of Red Bull go in right next to him.
And then we quickly see like one of the boxes get ripped open and 2 of the cans get pulled out.
Immediately pulled out.
You just double shot him. All right.
Oh, very cool.
There we go.
So good.
I know.
All right. Now, I'm glad 2 of you like it. Okay. So
I love it.
look at this guy's face. Look at him. Does he look like he's having fun?
Am I looking the right way?
Sure, which way?
I would say, Melissa, like I'm starting to when I do the edits, the video to put them up on YouTube later, I try to get a thumbnail where everyone's like laughing or smiling or doing something interesting. It's very difficult to find long smiling. You just
I don't show
there's a few
emotion.
where he's just like flipping the bird, but like he's never smiling.
Just
weird.
with his face.
There we go. We just got our thumbnail for the episode.
Everyone flick a no. I don't think that would go over well.
Probably
I'm
not good
sure.
for thumbnail.
I don't know how that nonsense works. All right, let's do some closing plugs. We'll get out of here. So, Steven, shut the hell up, and my tray, start opening up and tell us a little bit about where we can find you on the internet.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm Multiple Escapes on YouTube. Where I make system agnostic tabletop content about centers of human places that you should check out if you want to check out.
Fantastic. And now, Steven, you can go ahead and talk about whatever it is that you would like to talk about.
Hey, I do have something I'd like to talk about. I'm making my own game. It's called Huckleberry. It's a Weird West action horror game. It's a lot of fun, if I do say so myself, using a bespoke system that I've created and all the kind people on this screen have play tested, along with about another 50 some people. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It comes out on August 1st, which is pretty dang soon. By the time this is put on YouTube, it'll only be a day or 2 away. So yeah, go to huckleberryrpg.com and learn more. If you'd like to play it, I might be willing to run a session for you. I'll be running playtest events still in more sessions after I get back from Gen Con where it premieres. You can play by joining the Lollygagger Discord. We've got a new Discord, a lot of cool people on there. A lot of GIFs get put up there during the game where I make jokes about how Vin has sunburn and things like that. And also there's a Huckleberry channel where I'll be running sessions. So there's really no reason not to be on the Lollygagger Discord. There's just, it's all perks.
Yeah.
All positive.
That's all extraordinarily fair. I also want to say thank you to GrimQuest for the raid. We are closing up shop, but we really do appreciate it. Just toss you a follow. Everyone go follow them.
Thank you.
We really do appreciate it. We'll pay that forward here in a second. We'll find a way to keep the raid going. All right. So us, right? What do we got next? Tomorrow, Call of Cthulhu. Same crew,
Yep.
actually. Exact same crew here. We just moved where they're sitting. But yeah, we're playing some Call of Cthulhu. And then Monday, we should have Fragged Empire. Right? Yeah, Fragged Empire Monday. Tuesday, nothing, because Steven broke his contract. And then me and Long and Melissa and Steven, we're all going to Gen Con next week. Ashley and my trade were invited, but they said, fuck you. So the rest of us are going instead. So we won't have our normal.
That's exactly what happened. If you guys can
Say
all
verbatim.
picture me
Clip that.
actually telling them to
Clip
go
it.
fuck themselves.
She just said it right
No
there.
one wanted to deal
Evidence.
with me on my first plane
Sure.
ride, okay?
We're
fair.
all on the same plane. That's so crazy. I'm still.
Are
We're
you
still-
kidding?
we're such
I'm
idiots.
so jealous of you.
We're such
That's
idiots.
so
Didn't even plan
great.
it. And it
We did
just
not even
happened that
plan
way.
it. We are all on the same plane. So if something bad happens, Ashley,
If there's snakes
Andre,
on the plane.
Aaron, Kipser,
Motherfucking snakes.
you all have
On
to
this
keep
motherfucking plane.
AIL
Snakes.
going if something goes wrong. Okay. And then, yeah, so no Simbarum next week on Thursday. No session on Friday, no session on Saturday. We'll be back, planning to be back the following Monday for more Alien. So Delta Green is going to be a couple weeks before we get back to this because of the weird disruption in the schedule, but we will get back to it and we'll figure out what exactly is going on. I'm trying to find someone to raid. Who we got?
We also wanted to thank 20
I think
Sides
the
to Every
Defenders just
Story, AMP, ZND, and the Onyx Path, and then again, Grim Quests for the raids tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Ashley, for doing Melissa's job. All right, let's
Thank
see.
you.
Melissa and I tap in and out, you know?
Yeah, it looks like,
Okay,
oh
we're
man,
good.
Chuck
Share and share alike.
took Defenders off. So we'll do a rando one, one that we've never done before. Oh no, we'll do slices and dices maybe. I think they're playing Vaesen. Vaesen's fun.
Ooh, Vaesen.
Yeah, let's do that. We like
Love
Vaesen.
me some
One of the
Free
first
League.
games we stream. So we'll see you all later. Have a great night. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching this later or listening to this later. We'll see you all later. Bye.